You are listening to 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair. This is Ant Mazz in the midday.
In the midday.
This is
Ant
Mazz in the midday.
I sort of had a little bit of a seizure trying to, get the board working, but we're on.
That's rough. We are back. You already know what it is. Brandon Mazz Morazzo, Anthony Cafone, Connor Cupin.
We're going to just open the door for him.
Anyway.
Come on, money.
Joe.
When it rains, it Forbes. When it rains,
Let's go.
When it rains, it Forbes. Welcome, Joe.
When it rains, it Forbes.
He's on the Forbes list.
She looked away out. Whoo!
Never do that again.
Oh, man.
That was bad.
Oh,
That was so
man.
bad. Anyway, Joe Forbes in the building. Joey, buddy, how you doing today?
You know, I'm excited. I'm blessed to be here on Ant and Mazz in the midday.
You
Midday
finally
Mike.
made it.
I finally made it, man.
I made it on Bank Shop
Yeah.
my first time, too.
There you go. Exactly.
was
It's
just
a
gonna
first
say.
for everything. You know, we all have our first for everything. And this is my first Ant and Mazz in the midday show. I'm excited for it, man.
Well, we'd like to welcome you, of course. Had an open spot here. Ben got some assignments he has to handle, so you already know what it is.
You already know what it is.
Shut up, Ben.
I guess we got to get into it, right?
Let's just get into some football talk.
Cowboys, what happened?
Bum, bum, bum.
Giants and Cowboys, what happened?
Hey, where the Ravens at?
Listen,
Thank you.
We can
Whoa.
get one fumble away. One
get to
fumble
that.
away.
We did that last week,
I
man. We
just
took
wanna
care of
get
that
it out of
last
the
week.
way.
Listen. We got a Dolphins fan, a Ravens fan, a Giants fan, and
what do we
a
all have in
Cowboys fan.
common?
We
And
all
Ben's a Pats fan. What do we have in common? We're all sitting on the couch like bums. All right?
listen. It's
Can I get this out of the way?
yeah. Go ahead, sir.
Watch my levels, would you?
Yep, I'm pretty much doing that.
Oh,
The
boy,
next
he's
person
standing.
that tells me that's a Cowboys fan that they're going all the way, I swear, I might just spine buster them right in a parking lot.
Yeah.
All right.
Derwin James him.
I don't know what else to do. All right. I have no clue. You got a solid quarterback. Listen, he had some bad throws that game. All right. He played the number one defense with one wide receiver, a tight end who's always injured, and I don't know what's going on anymore, man. Pollard goes down. Zeke looked like he was comparable, but that last play, we'll get to the last play. We'll get to the last play.
Chuck
But I don't know what it is.
2.0.
I don't know what it is. Mike McCarthy has to go.
Caldwell.
All right, we'll get to him later too. But this team, top 5 defense the entire year. They played pretty good, but we just got outbeat. Apparently, quarterback doesn't matter as long as you got 5-star players at every other position. All right, Brock Purdy's been proving that. I don't know what to do anymore. All right, this is the greatest defense Dallas has put together in my lifetime. Dan Quinn's leaving for better places, honestly, where he can have control, and if he's going to go down, he's going down on the plays that he called in the last second, not this bum's call. Are you kidding me? This is the second time in a row, 2 years in a row, you play the Niners in a playoff game, all right? And you need a big play to win the game.
Also, what was Dalton Schultz doing on that last play when he caught it on the sideline and couldn't even get his second foot
Dude,
down?
That was rough. That was
How do
rough.
you not
so
know where you're on
nonchalant.
this?
It was bad.
And you guys are going to blame Dak all this time? This is what we're dealing with.
They would have gotten a Hail Mary off if he gets
yeah.
that second foot down. You know what I mean? From
absolutely.
the 40, whatever it was.
Absolutely. And no, instead we have to go to some backyard football shenanigans, and it's the worst play ever called. At least you saw the Patriots go down with some dignity when they tried doing the backyard stuff. All right, at least teams actually have some kind of game plan. They get some creative. What do? No, they go back to the good old Indianapolis Colts formation of one center, quarterback behind, no protection, nowhere
Zeke
to be
got
found.
annihilated.
And
Zeke got blown over.
Instead of throwing it like a little screen pass behind blockers, no. We're going to throw it right down the middle of the field for a receiver to get blown up with nobody near him. And he got hit so fast because there was such an awful play call. You literally threw it right to the coverage. He didn't have time to lateral it. This is what we're dealing with.
Cavante Turpin got nailed.
Do you know what the worst part is? The absolute worst. That's the returner too, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. If he goes right on that one return, maybe we're talking about a tied game and potential overtime. But no, listen, I'm not blaming the whole thing on him.
Well, don't go to a tie game because you still got Brett Maher kicking extra
That's
points.
Dude,
why I said maybe a tie game.
Another missed extra point yesterday.
Dude, don't even get me
That
started.
was
6
great.
of 7.
Dude, that is
Yeah.
atrocious.
He's not
And
coming back next year.
And instead of taking a risk on somebody after the guy literally went 4 of 5, sorry, 1 of 5 the game before against Tampa, No, we're going to rock with him. And not only are we going to rock with him, we're not going to go for 2 extra points. We are going for the 1 extra point, and we are going to live and die by the extra point for the guy who has the yips at the most crucial part of the season.
Well, he did hit a big field goal.
He hit a 25-yarder, right?
No, he
That's
also hit a
fine.
40-yarder, I think, too.
Yeah, he did. But I don't care. All right? Because that just goes to me. Listen, that's cool. You
He
believe
can
in
make the
guy.
ones that count for 3. He can't make the ones that count
extra
for
point.
1.
It's 1. You know what I found out about the Cowboys is what I already knew, which is it comes to the small things. It's the small things they miss on.
You know what? You know what that comes down to? Coaching.
I agree.
And here's the thing. You know what the
And
worst
you're losing
part
both
is?
coordinators.
You know what? We're probably losing both coordinators. I don't even know how to feel about Kellen Moore right now because he's supposed to be this offensive genius.
He's going to go to the Texans
How?
next year. You watch.
That's fine.
Nah, D'Amico Ryans.
Listen,
D'Amico Ryans to the
here's
Texans.
the thing. I don't know where he's going. I think he actually stays. I think Quinn's gone.
I think Quinn's
Okay.
gone as well. He could have left last year
Wait,
and
here's the
came
problem.
back this year.
Here's the problem because he thought that they had a chance. He loved the unit that they
Yeah,
put together.
no, I thought so,
He loved
too.
Micah. All right,
Yeah.
he liked Trayvon Diggs. When Trayvon Diggs can intercept balls, he can't lay on big hits and big moments on George Kittle's. When
Trayvon Diggs should have had that one pick that was tipped by.
He should have had that pick, and he should have dropped that shoulder on Kittle's. He missed him completely on that bobbled catch, which was
That
let's
was
be
bad.
honest, spectacular
That catch was unbelievable.
A spectacular
Insane.
catch.
Unbelievable.
Insane, but that probably doesn't happen if he actually just makes even the slightest bit of contact. All right, but I can't even blame him.
He PJ Williams did, man.
Dak didn't play the greatest of games. He played okay. That one interception was horrendous on that left side.
I would not call that okay. That was not an okay performance.
It was
And
okay.
It was
No,
equal
the one interception he threw,
The second
It was
Pollard
bad.
went down.
It was
They knew
bad.
that
he was
it.
making terrible decisions the whole second
No,
half.
you're right. He was getting pressured the entire time. But let's be honest, the line's been in shambles. Okay, you only have one true good wide receiver. You bring in T.Y. Hilton late in the year, who played okay.
CD's an
All right.
excellent receiver, though. You got
He is,
CD.
absolutely. But the problem is that they try to force feed CD.
Gallup's not
all
bad
right?
either.
And Gallup has his
Gallup wasn't.
moments.
Yeah, and Gallup didn't. I didn't see
What
a
did
lot
Gallup
of. I didn't
do?
see a lot of touch from Gallup
Why
yesterday.
aren't they throwing to Gallup?
They threw to Gallup twice, and he
It's
missed
Dak.
it.
It's
not,
Dak.
I don't think it's Dak.
Is Dak
It's
a one
Dak.
read? Is he a one read
I don't
quarterback?
know.
A
All right,
little
that
bit.
game he was. That game he definitely
He got faced. You know,
And
I
even
thought
the times-
he hung in the pocket in the
Hold on.
beginning of the game pretty well.
He was doing all right, man, and he's showing off that he's got the Jets to make some plays. It's just he's rattled. He's coming off a hand surgery this season. So listen, we got one more year. Let's figure it out then, and then we'll make the decision. But here's the problem. Mike McCarthy's got to go, and he's the best coach you've had in the last 3 head coaches. Mike McCarthy, Wade Phillips, and that bum who was the Giants' offensive
Don't bring us
coordinator.
in here with Jason Garrett.
Jason
Don't bring
Garrett.
us in here with Jason Garrett.
That's your quarterback,
What
bro.
about Parcells?
Right?
That's your quarterback. He played Thanksgiving for you guys. He
In the
won
last
the
3
game.
coaches,
Time out.
what about Parcells?
Parcells was before.
He said last 3.
Last
He
three.
said last 3,
So it was-
including
It was Wade
Mike.
Phillips, who really should be called Bum Phillips, like his
Yeah.
father's name was. All right,
Garrett.
but that was just a nickname. He's an actual bum. All right.
Shout out
Garrett
Wade.
is the worst one. That guy is useless.
Was it
Ginger
Parcells
Clapper.
before Phillips?
Yeah, I said the
Parcells
last 3.
was yeah.
Oh,
Mike
last-
McCarthy's
okay.
within the
All
last
right, I
3.
see what you're saying.
How can you not math right now?
I thought you meant like the 3 before.
No. He's the best out of the last 3 that we've had, and it's not even. It's,
Since
quite frankly,
Parcells. Since
quite
Parcells.
frankly, it's not even close. Mike McCarthy's the best out of them, and that's the problem. I don't want Mike McCarthy as my head coach. All right, because
He's an idiot.
You're literally proven right now in clutch moments you don't have a game plan. You're literally proven right now your team is undisciplined because penalties kill them every time they step on the field.
Correct.
All right? These are all coaching adjustments. And not only are they coaching adjustments, these are, first off, the penalty things is the most basic thing you can install is discipline. All right? You're dealing with professionals here, and they're
And
undisciplined.
also,
and it's your
they were
fault.
winning the field position battle the
Yes.
entire game. They were pinning
The
San
defense
Francisco.
was
That's true.
crazy,
That's true. Brian
bro.
Anger was really well punting.
Special teams came up with a turnover,
Wisnowski
too.
for the Niners did well
the
too.
special teams was playing great.
Dude, it was just insane. And I don't even know what to even feel anymore. I have no hope. Not that I had any hope to begin with. I told Forbes. All right, me and Forbes talked about this plenty of times. Forbes goes, oh, here we go. The Cowboys think they're going to the Super Bowl. And I said, no, don't put that on me. Because I'm telling you right now, we're going to be a second-round knockout because that's all we do. All right? We have all this talent all over the place, and we can put it together for a nice regular season and feel good about ourselves. But the second we face some actual competition, a high-level elite team, we are going to fold. They put up a better battle than I thought they would. All right? But what did they end up doing? They sold it. All right?
They self-sabotage.
They sell, and then your head coach has no game plan and a must-win drive. That's what you're dealing with, people. That's the Cowboys. How do you fix it? I don't know. Maybe you bring in Sean Payton because I'm ready for it. Can't be worse.
Can't be worse.
Mike McCarthy's got to go, man. I said, hey, you know what? I'm feeling kind of good about McCarthy. But let's see what he does in the playoffs because that's what I love about being a Cowboys fan. All right? They might be the most obnoxious people on the planet, but I don't care about making the playoffs. If you don't win a championship, I know they haven't won one since '96, before I was even born. But if it's a disappointing season if they're not in the Super Bowl.
Man, 30 years of disappointment.
For sure. And they've been disappointing forever. When's the last time they were even in the NFC Championship game?
1996.
Thank you. All right, so they've been disappointing since before I was born, and I like that we hold them to that standard. But for the love of God,
I think it's time to stop holding that standard.
How can you hold them to the standard if we can't even?
That's not a
build
standard. It's not
plan?
a standard. It's not your standard. I mean, that's why there's an issue with the Cowboy fan base, right? Every year, it's our year. This is our expectation.
Same thing with Yankees fans.
You guys,
I was just about to say the same
The
thing.
Dallas Cowboys are the
Yan-
Yankees
yeah,
of
but-
the NFL.
For sure, that's why there's such an overlap between those fan bases. But the Yankees at least have won one in this century, right? They 09. So I mean, like when it comes to the Cowboys, I mean, it's ridiculous. You're saying you want to fire the guy? You guys went 12-4, 12-5 with him.
Yeah, I still want to fire the guy.
I mean, how can you say that? I mean,
do you mean?
I think he's an awful coach. I agree.
Wade Phillips had good records.
This is the best you're going to be able to do. This is
I
what you guys
disagree.
got. This is what you guys
way.
got. I think it starts with Dak because honestly,
No way, you're bugging.
no, listen, Dak's been good for you guys. He played a lot off athleticism and decent decision making, and he's always had Hall of Fame talent, or at least Pro Bowl, all pro talent around him. Yeah,
Where's the line been this year?
the line's in shambles, but you still have Tyron Smith on the line. You still have Zach Martin on the line. You still have those players. You still have those guys.
Who went to
Dalton Schultz has been emerging as a top
Dalton
tight end.
Schultz is a great
He's
tight
had
end
some
as
injury-
well.
Listen, he is, but he's had some injury
CeeDee
problems.
Lamb, he is
Tony
an
Pollard.
astounding
Pollard.
wide receiver.
He could have been all-pro. He could have been all-pro this year.
And really,
Hold
though,
on.
as much as Zeke's an overpaid, glorified fullback, they have a good 1-2 punch.
Yep.
But Pollard, and exactly, you saw, if Pollard doesn't go out, what was that, the second quarter with that ankle injury? It's similar to Patty Mahomes.
Dude,
The Cowboys
losing-
really still have a shot in that game.
Losing Lael Collins was a big hit. Then you get
But
hit
Lael
with
Collins
injuries.
hasn't played well
Hold
for the
on.
Bengals, though.
That's fine, but he was playing well for us. All right, so I
Good
don't know.
enough.
And hold on, the Bengals have always known to not have a good line, so that ain't even on him. That goes on their coaching and scheming over there. But they're looking fine right now. I'm not even going to come for them.
They're in the AFC
You've had
Championship.
multiple people injured. We got a rookie left tackle trying to handle one of the premier pass rushers, probably going to be the defensive player of the year, Nick Bosa.
Yeah, Bosa went off on him.
Like, come on, man. And then if he's not on that side and you flip him to the other side, you're dealing with a 40-plus-year-old on the line. This is what you're dealing with. You can't blame Dak for that. You can blame Dak for that one bad throw.
What,
but-
Jason Peters?
Yeah.
Talk about the
Yeah,
4-year-old man?
Yeah, okay. Who's like, he's been okay, but like, dude, come on. You don't want the premier pass rusher, him blocking him. All right? Every time Dak dropped back, he's pressured. There's absolutely no hope there. And
Also, Zeke has not been trying at blocking as a running back. He's very
Zeke
very below average.
Zeke is
in
the
blocking.
Kenny Galladay of the Cowboys roster, honestly. Zeke is a freaking
No,
money eater.
that's
He's a
that's
money eater.
overhating.
Disrespectful.
That's overhating.
stop it. He actually has done something this year. Kenny
I
Galladay,
agree.
700 catches plus from getting his bonus that's in his contract, all right? At least, I'll tell you this, at least Zeke found a role that he can be used in, and it's
That's
short
true.
yardage,
That's
power
true.
back things, because I'm sorry, Pollard doesn't have the power. He's a big-time back, but he's shifty and he's quick. He's not a power guy. I don't want Tony Pollard getting the ball when it's third and three.
Tony Pollard's power is that of an average NFL running back. It's
Dual threat.
understated. He's a solid running back. You guys do
here's
not
what we're gonna
need
do.
Zeke. Tony Pollard could do it all.
Listen, that's
Isn't
fair.
Pollard a
You-
free agent though? So he's got to figure out which team.
But I
he's
will
gonna go
say
to.
this.
gotta- I'm
I
not
will
gonna-
say this. Zeke is definitely a top 5 goal line back in football right
Yes.
now. Jamal Williams is probably number 1.
Jamal Williams is number
I would
one.
probably put Zeke 3 or 4.
Would you put James Conner above Zeke?
Him, Josh Jacobs, maybe
Derrick Henry?
and then
Derrick
probably
Henry.
Zeke.
All right, so here we have it, right?
I don't.
We're going to go through every
I'm trying
team.
to take bias out. I'd take Saquon.
We're
on the
going to
goal
go
line
through
over Zeke.
every team
I
right
would.
now.
That's tough.
We're going to go through every team that was in the playoffs and couldn't get the job done. And we're going to talk about what they need to do to potentially get back next season.
Let's go through each game first before
Yeah.
we go to that.
Okay,
Yeah.
fair.
So let's go. Let's
I knew
talk
you
about
were
your
gonna ask-
Giants.
I knew you were gonna
Joe.
ask about it.
Let's
I knew you were
talk
gonna
about
ask
your
about it.
Giants real quick.
So I mean, you really can't defend a 38-7 loss. There's no way, and obviously we can dissect it. Let's dissect it.
It was
Dable looked
close when the
overmatched.
game started. It was 0-0. You know what I mean?
And that's as close as it got.
It's as close as it got. I mean, we were down 14-0 out of nowhere. The 4th and 8 call was awful.
I just think Dable looked overmatched in this game.
I mean, it was
I just
overwhelming.
think-
It's
I don't
overwhelming.
think
The
Dable
talent
was overmatched. I think the talent on his
Yeah,
field was overmatched.
I won't lie.
Dude.
As a Giants fan, that Eagles team is remarkable.
And all of you NFL fans out there that were saying that the Eagles were going to be successful without Jalen Hurts, you're so wrong.
I mean,
So
you
wrong.
can definitely
He
say
makes
that for sure.
team.
He definitely is what I'll say is that team around him is really amazing. Jalen Hurts, it's built for him. It's built for him. He's great. I don't want to say that because I'll probably get a little bit of hate, but I do think that Daniel Jones, if he was on that Eagles team, would be just as fine. That team would be exactly where it is.
You're crazy.
That team would be exactly where it is.
Here's the problem.
That team would be exactly where it is.
Here's what the Giants are going to do, and this is where their big mistake is, right? They saw Daniel Jones ball out against the 30th ranked defense. They're going to pay Daniel Jones now. They're not going to be able to
playoff history.
Listen, what's up?
He made playoff history.
Congratulations. Dable made playoff history, and he didn't. All right? The guy threw 2 touchdowns. He had an okay game. All right? And then you guys are talking like he's elite. He's a top 15 quarterback, and he's never getting past 13th in the league, and that's the fact of the matter. He ain't the guy. He is not the guy. If you're the Giants, the smartest thing they could do, and they won't do it because they believe in themselves so much, and we make great decisions, and yada, 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 go get Lamar Jackson, and then maybe we'd be afraid of you.
That's crazy. I mean, honestly, Daniel Jones he's pretty much the guy, and they're going to move with Daniel Jones going forward.
Joe Shane said back.
He does not
hold you back.
How does he hold us back?
Because
he was the 4th most sacked quarterback in the league, and that's what lost the Giants the game and made them get so embarrassed. Is every single time he dropped back.
Tell me when
it's
Daniel
the same
Jones
thing you said about Dak. It's the same thing you said about Dak against the Niners.
Moments that Daniel Jones has had besides tripping over himself on the way to a touchdown.
That's funny. What moments does Dak Prescott have?
I've told you, Dak is not an elite guy. You guys are talking like he's elite.
When have I said Daniel Jones is elite?
Also,
I've never said Daniel Jones.
If you take Saquon out of that offense, Daniel Jones is not
nowhere.
Good.
Nowhere.
But I mean, the whole argument for the Cowboys is that, he only has one receiver,
Jones is
one
better
tight
than
end.
Dak at quarterback?
I think that they're in the same.
I
don't go. Oh my gosh. I believe quarterbacks roll in tiers, and I believe that Daniel Jones and Dak Prescott.
You think Daniel Jones is a tier 2 quarterback?
You think Dak Prescott's a tier 2 quarterback?
Absolutely.
All right. There's only 3 quarterbacks on tier 1 in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think
who's
Mahomes,
tier 1?
Allen, and Burrow.
That's
maybe Hurts.
Hurts is too soon, but I'll put him up there for this season.
Hurts is probably on tier 2.
Yeah, I mean, we throw everything into the season because last season Daniel Jones and Jalen Hurts were bottom 5 quarterbacks.
You can even debate Allen not even being on tier 1.
Fair.
Wait, he played
after this past weekend. I agree, but you can't base off of one.
Tier 2, I think Jalen Hurts, Justin Herbert.
I think Hurts
Lamar.
is 1, but I'll give you that.
I could put Dak in tier 2.
I think Dak has to be tier 2. He has a better QBR than most of these guys.
Is Kirk going to be in tier 2?
Kirk could be in tier 2.
I think Kirk's a fringe tier 2, but I have.
But
Kirk
he doesn't show up in big games. That's the thing.
But then with that being said, I'm ready to put Daniel Jones in that then. Because what are we doing? What are we doing?
You think Daniel Jones on the same level as Kirk Cousins?
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now, if you put Daniel Jones on the Cowboys, he'd have more turnovers.
That's incorrect. That's incorrect.
No, because here's the thing: they let him actually.
What are you talking about?
They let him actually attempt 30 passes a game, and it wouldn't go well.
That's just bad coaching at that point. Daniel Jones would be fine in an offense where he had 30 attempts. He had 44 attempts against the Vikings. He had 40-something attempts against the Vikings.
Dude, it's one of the worst defenses. That's what
they're a playoff team.
Who else did he have a great showing
Colts,
against?
But that's a bad team as well. So what are we going to talk about?
Who else did he have a great showing against?
Are you not allowed to have a good showing?
Did he ever beat the Cowboys?
I'm not saying
Is that
because you're sitting there saying Dak literally diced the Vikings. It wasn't close. Dak straight up diced, and he diced.
It was 40. It was 40, and it was also due to the fact that the defense won that game.
The defense was good, but don't act like Dak wasn't putting up points.
I'm not saying that, but he only had 200 yards. He had 200 yards with 4 or 5 touchdowns. So I mean, it was a great performance by Dak. But just like how the Eagles decimated the Giants, it's all because they were able to win the field position battle.
Did the Giants beat
Dak played the Eagles?
Did the Giants beat the Eagles?
They didn't have Hurts, but that's still a solid defense.
I don't know if I've been talking to the mic.
You know,
did the Giants beat the Eagles? Did they beat the Cowboys? They didn't. They didn't beat them once.
And the Cowboys beat them with a backup quarterback.
So what I'll say is for the Giants this year, for next year, obviously the big things, of course, are going to be making sure we keep the guys, making sure that they tie up the loose ends from the Dave Gettleman era with the issues like the Kenny Golladay contract. Maybe Leonard Williams takes a pay cut. See what we do in the draft. They drafted well last year, in year 1 of Joe Shane.
Which they did.
Got 2 of the best prospects available at their points, in the top 10. But what I will say is that no doubt that what separates this team and what made them a divisional team as compared to what could the promise of the future is winning divisional games, right? They
won 4-1.
I was about to say that 1-4-1. Obviously, I know.
Atrocious.
1-4-1. You can't be a playoff team. You can't even try and be a Super Bowl team like that.
Let's make no mistake about it. The NFC East is the most competitive division in football.
Yeah,
it's not the
finally.
best.
Took him.
This year is the best.
Terrible.
It's always been the most.
It's always been the most
because
competitive.
the teams have always been in the same stage, around the same way.
Mm-hmm.
There's not much separating the Eagles and Cowboys aside from coaching, and Sirianni's a much better coach than McCarthy is right now.
Mm-hmm.
Dable was able to compete because he's that level of coach. If you put Dable on the Cowboys, they're potentially going to a Super Bowl. All right, they're potentially going to a Super Bowl.
I'd give them that. It'd be
And
Dak holding them back.
We keep putting it on Dak. We've seen what Dable can do with Jones. Give him Dak. Dak's that next level.
I don't think so.
There's
I don't
a tier
think so.
separating them.
I don't think
Absolutely.
so. I don't think so. I prove it next year. I'd love to see it because
Look at the
honestly,
QBRs.
I feel like Dak's regressed this year. I
What
feel
do
like
you think the
Dak's
Giants
taking
need?
a step
He had
back.
hand
Hold on.
surgery on his throwing hand.
So then, okay, so if you're saying about his ability, then that's an issue. If that's going to be an issue for this season that he had hand surgery, then how is he? That's his performance.
What do you
That's his
mean?
performance. Well, Daniel Jones gets. I'm not going to say
Daniel Jones is fully
definite
healthy.
words. Yeah, no,
Fully
I'm
healthy.
saying the past couple of years, he neck injuries, knee injuries, but Daniel Jones is garbage. But then this year,
Stop it.
the least amount of turnovers tied with Jalen Hurts, least amount of turnovers in the league. What are we talking about
Jalen
here?
Hurts is throwing 40 more passes a game, it feels like.
But it's less turnovers.
So, dude,
it's less
because
turnovers.
they're not throwing the ball. They're literally
but
running.
we're scoring and winning
Timeout.
games.
Because of your play call, and two, your elite running back play.
Daniel Jones is
Daniel
a dual
Jones-
threat quarterback.
He's towards the bottom of two threats.
Towards the bottom of what
He's
do
a
you
good.
Absolutely.
Nah,
He is a dual threat quarterback. 700 rushing yards.
Dude, it
8
opens
rushing
everything.
touchdowns?
You take
What are you talking
take
about?
Saquon off that team and put in any other running
It's
back.
a different team then.
It's a complete different team, and he doesn't have the same success.
We're talking about the Giants and we're talking about the things. You're putting in a hypothetical. Matt Breida is not a star running back then. If we're going to we're going to go right down the list and then don't get a replacement running back at a medium level. Matt Breida, that offense doesn't get so much changed from what Daniel Jones is doing.
Joe, what do the Giants need to draft this year? What's their biggest need?
Corner's my number one.
They do need some secondary help.
Corner
That's
would
the
be
that's the biggest thing.
I mean, our safeties play has been really well. Julian Love.
I love Julian.
How
I
about
love
wide
Julian Love,
receiver?
but wide receiver I like, not first. That's not the first because I believe Isaiah Hodgins that the last 6 weeks, man,
Come
of the
on,
season.
you can't make him your
he
one.
Came on.
He can't be
He's
your
not.
one.
No, he's not gonna be my one. He's not gonna be my one. I gotta see as well. I know it's crazy to say. We got to see how Sterling Shepard comes back from
Could you
injury
guys
here.
be in for Hopkins?
Dude, how many times is it going to
I
be
would
the
like
Sterling
Hopkins,
Shepard
but
story?
I'm not too crazy about Hopkins. He's on the wrong side of 30 as a receiver. He played well in some of the games he played.
But
He's coming up
the
injuries
style
well.
of play he plays translates to deeper in his career. He runs great routes. He's tall and he's athletic.
Yeah,
and
but
he can get 50
right now
balls.
he'd be a red
He's not-
zone
he's-
threat
yeah,
guy.
but he's
and
not a guy that's like always been like a speedster. Those are the guys that sort of wane off in their 30s.
Do you
I
need to
think
be a
I think
speedster?
Hopkins could be like a Jerry Rice guy that could sustain his dominant run for
I
a while.
would love that. I also want to see what happens with Odell. His recovery.
Nah, I would rather have Hopkins than Odell.
But you got to give up something to get Hopkins. Odell, you would just sign.
Yeah,
Odell,
but I'd be perfectly fine giving up like a fourth and a third for DeAndre
I'm telling
Hopkins.
you right now, if
I
I'm the
think
Giants,
I think depth is really big for the Giants, and I think that they need to get some linebacker help. I think they need to get some young receivers. Receiver is not so big on my list. Wan'Dale Robinson's going to come back from his ACL injury. That's a second round receiver, and when he played well. He's got a lot to learn. It's gonna be year 2 in the offense.
also-
So which
we
one
got to
is
see
it
what happens
then?
with
Wasn't he also
Slayton.
towards
So
the top of the league in
which
drops?
one is it then? Is it Daniel Jones doesn't have help, or he has talent that
I didn't say he didn't have help. I think that he did well, and he's still progressing. I think that he did well. I don't think he did awful. I'm not a Giants fan that says we need a
That he's
receiver.
doing awful. I'm saying that he is never going to win you a game. That's what I feel.
He did win us a few games, and sure, again they were against some
the
of the
Colts? Come on.
lesser teams.
when I mean
He
win
won
a
us
game,
the Viking game. He did. He won us the Viking game.
it's not hard.
That's
to
a
win
playoff game. Is it?
It's not hard to win.
You
that game.
can't say that's a playoff team.
They shouldn't have been there.
13 teams.
It was the biggest
13 teams had a hard time beating them. They went 13-4. They had the third best record in the NFC.
But also 11 of those games
Play
were
Chicago
one-score
twice.
games.
They played Detroit's awful defense twice. They
Agreed.
played Green Bay at the lowest moment that they've ever had. Aaron Rodgers.
What conference did they play for AFC? What conference did they play for AFC?
Well, like the
The
teams they
AFC
played-
East.
They played the AFC East.
Talking
They
about the
beat
Vikings
they
right
beat
now?
the Jets. They beat the Jets. They beat the Bills in that big game,
They beat the
That
Bills.
was a big win too.
They beat the Finns.
and they beat the Patriots. Then they swept the AFC East.
And that was I mean, that was also alongside
is that a
the NFC.
giant accomplishment this year?
It is.
Yes, actually.
They
I
all,
don't know about that.
except for the Patriots, they all had. Or the Jets fell off 7-10. The Patriots, did they go 9-8 or 8-9?
8-9.
8-9.
8-9. But
Still
then
a young
you still
team.
had two playoff
You
teams.
have a
And
young team that has no quarterback.
The Dolphins
You're
team
talking about
they
the
beat.
Dolphins?
And the Jets.
The
The
Jets?
Dolphins team they beat also was a
That was a
Skylar
great
Thompson
defense.
Dolphins
It
team.
was a Skylar. Thank you. Thank you. It wasn't even two.
No, he was out
this
that
is
game.
post to a concussion.
It was-
where the guy almost passed
Yeah,
away on
yeah.
the field.
It was the next
All right?
game, I think.
So
Yeah.
this is the team that we're talking about. The Vikings were the biggest frauds this year.
All their
I
wins
wouldn't
were
give-
single-digit wins. It was nothing crazy other than the week one against Green Bay. So, like, I
but
think, yes.
you line up.
Single
you're
digit
in
wins
an-
with
you're-
that entirely full roster.
You're
without
in a
weapons.
you're
And their
in
losses
an
were the
enemy
Cowboys
environment.
game.
One at a time.
That's true, yeah.
One at a time.
Who you want to go?
You.
The losses were the Cowboys game.
Yep.
They got destroyed by Green Bay.
Uh-huh.
And the other two losses, who was it? The Lions, right?
Yeah.
I think the Lions beat them in one game. And I don't remember the fourth loss. The Eagles.
I don't know
I
them.
mean, the two big ones were the Eagles and Cowboys, where they got embarrassed. The Vikings, they did. There's no hiding that, right? And those are two of the best teams in the league.
That Giant squad should not have beaten that Viking squad.
I think
and
they
yet
should have.
Did.
Yeah.
You know why?
They're a good
Because
team.
they're a better team.
Yeah, the Giants are a good team.
I think
I'm
on
here
paper-
saying the Giants are a top 10 team this year. They
Yeah,
are.
yeah.
They're a top 10 team. Power rankings. So they were fringe top 5 at points this
I-
season.
If you guys had a better quarterback, with that
I don't
coach,
think it goes to
it
quarterback.
changes. It definitely does.
I don't think it goes to quarterback.
Absolutely, bro. Because if you had somebody that could actually make plays with no
I-
names,
there's a lot of issues with that argument because the defense was really, really not good at points. Sure, 26th in the league in passing. That's not so great. And again, it's the same issues Daniel Jones has been dealing with, is the inconsistency at their wide receiver position. Not that they need new ones, not that they need star ones,
So then-
but they need consistency at that level. I mean, it's hard.
so then do you need new ones or do you trust those guys?
It's
'Cause
hard to
that
say.
is flip flopping as flip flopping gets. Choose a
It's
side, man.
it's hard to say. It really is because I mean you believe that those guys, because when they are healthy, they are
'Cause I'll tell you
exceptional.
right now. I'll tell you right now. I'm fully. If I'm the Cowboys, we were talking about wish lists, right? And how to fix teams. If I'm the Cowboys, I'm fine with keeping Zeke. You have to reconstruct the deal, or you got to find a way to unload it to somebody that's just not going to have a good season, is looking to get rid of some cap, and it is what it is because you have to spend a certain amount of money anyway, right? All right. If Zeke does not want to restructure the deal, gone. You got to find a way to get it off the books because it's not worth keeping unless it's for better. All right. Second, you need to find a legitimate number 2 wide receiver. All right, and you need to beef up that line.
Yeah.
All right, because Dak's not the issue, coaching's the issue, and lack of wide receiver outside of a number 1 star worth who gets double teamed every time he starts having some success in the game, and there's nobody to go to. And Dalton Schultz needs to stay a little healthy. All right, and you got to find a way to keep Tony Pollard for a team-friendly contract. But let's be honest, he deserves more than that. But that's the problem. You shouldn't. I don't think the Giants should pay Saquon. I don't think you should ever pay a running back ever again.
I disagree just because in the sense that right now what the Niners are doing with CMC is what I believe Saquon will evolve into as well as the years go on. Where it comes to like he
Well,
can
how
work
CMC
into
do
the
that? Look at it. You got Ayuk, you got Debo, you got Kittles. There's eliteness around him. Unless the Giants do that, Saquon is going to be running to the ground like we've seen every other season. Saquon's a great running back. The
Saquon's
problem
top
is
5 this year. I don't know if he gets back to top 5 level every year.
Saquon talent-wise has an argument for being the most talented running back in the league.
I
The
believe
problem
that.
is the past years they've ran that poor guy into the ground, and that's why he gets injured.
What I'll say is this-
without bringing in wide receiver help, there's no.
And
help
also,
for
he
that
plays
guy.
on the worst constructed field in football in MetLife.
Sure.
Oh, it's going to change next year. But with that offensive line, the Giants had a top 10 run blocking offensive line. That's easily, hands down, unarguable. I mean, some of the schemes that they had running, Mike Kafka did a great job with incorporating the run game and run blocking. But with that being said, they also had, again, I said it, the 4th worst pass blocking offensive line. Daniel Jones did not feel like he did not have enough time. So, there's going to be a trade-off there. And I don't know if the guys on the line are not the best suited for that type of offense, if there's new people that need to be brought in. I thought
You
that
absolutely
some of the
need new
tackles,
people.
Evan Neal is going to have to take a big leap because he struggled mightily, especially in the last leg of the
Great
season.
size, just needs better technique.
I mean, it's the same thing that it looks like I'm looking at Andrew Thomas again, 4 years later, right? Is that like Andrew Thomas, like he struggled his rookie year, and people were like, "Oh my gosh, why did we take the tackle so high?" Andrew Thomas, arguably the best left tackle in the league this year.
And he had some massive improvements this year. Him and Evan Neal are going to be the tackles
Stalwarts.
for the next 5-6 years for the Giants.
But like I said, it doesn't mean nothing unless you get a target to go through or get a game-changing quarterback like Lamar.
All right.
That's it. Let's move on with the Bills.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the AFC.
Yes.
So on Saturday, the Jaguars and Chiefs played. Chiefs actually made it a one-score game. The Jaguars. How about that? I mean, they
Patty
are.
Mahomes high ankle sprain. Watch out for that.
Dude, he's a baller. I'm not gonna lie.
Chad Henne time.
Absolutely, like
Anything is possible.
Dolphins legend Chad Henne.
I'm telling you right
this
now.
dude got an ankle injury. Mahomes.
Yep.
Sat down. Andy Reid's like, no, go to the locker room. You're not coming back in. He goes to the locker room, gets it taped up, comes back, and is on one
This
leg.
is the injury that kept Lamar Jackson out 6 weeks last year, everybody.
Exactly.
You
Let's
think
just,
Lamar's gone, bro? We'll get to that. Hold on. But here's the thing, though, right? I think with a high ankle sprain, yes, he's a dog and he wants to play through it. That defense is probably the worst one remaining.
the Bengals defense?
No, the Chiefs defense.
Oh, I understand.
All right.
Okay.
I think their defense is the worst one remaining, and the guy who was
Yeah.
legitimately your X factor is not at 100%. I think they instantly dropped down to 4 for me right now.
I agree completely. I agree wholeheartedly. I think
How
that
do you have it ranked? Give me the Forbes list right now. What's Forbes list?
right now the best teams in the playoffs, I would go. It's
Number
really
one?
tough. Number one,
Niners.
I'm gonna go. What'd you say?
I'm saying Niners.
I'm saying Philly.
I'm actually I think it's still Philly because of quarterback, and it comes down to Brock Purdy. But Niners are for sure number 2 for me.
I was gonna say number 2 is hard for me.
I think
do.
Philly
I
is
think,
number 1. Yeah.
I think. Looking at that,
I put
that Buffalo game,
Cincinnati
I'm
over
putting
Philly,
I'm
I
putting
think.
Cincinnati 2.
I might have
And
to
I'd
go
put-
Cincinnati over Philly.
You
I'd put the
Niners 4?
I'd put Niners 3, KC 4.
Dude,
but
there's
it's
so much
close.
talent, though.
It's close. No, it's definitely really talented. But as much, I mean, I'm loving Brock Purdy right now. I am. Trust me. But like,
He's not just game managing. He's playing.
Now
no,
he's
he's
playing.
playing well. He's playing
Now he's
really
playing.
well. He's playing.
And that's why I gotta be honest, they're borderline number like them in Philly. I think NFC's taking it this year. I fully believe.
I
that.
hope not. I genuinely hope not.
I really believe it's gonna be Philly or not.
but
But
don't sleep on the Bengals, bro.
I'm looking.
Don't
I'm looking at
understand that.
Cincinnati, and I really thought about even putting them at 1. Honestly, I'm really believing in Joe Burrow's play right
sure.
now. I mean, borderline MVP. Again, if MVP was the second half of the season award,
And their
it's Joe
defense
Burrow.
dominated the Bills, who were the top 5 offense all year.
As
Dominated.
much as I hate to see Eli Apple,
I
you
just
know,
feel like I feel like the Bills. I don't know, dude. Ever since the Hamlin situation,
They seem off.
they didn't
just
want to
seem
play.
shook,
They didn't
man.
want to play. They
just
didn't want to
seem
play.
shook. So, yeah, they're the number 1 offense, but like I'm gonna be honest, I see you're playing against the number 1 offense that is completely rattled, and guys are debating whether or not they even want to be on the field. It felt like because they're going through some emotions right now because they saw one of their good guys go down with a scary injury that came out of nowhere. All right, so I feel like that's in the
Bengals
back
were on
of
that
their
field
mind.
too. I know it's not their guy, but the Bengals were on that field too.
I feel that, but it's not their guy, right? You don't have that
Agreed.
connection. You're not in that locker room.
Agreed.
You know,
No, it's crazy.
You're not putting in that off-season work. You're not hanging out with them after the game or after practice.
That's a fact.
You
That's
know?
a fact.
So for that reason being said, I think the Bengals came in and they said, yo, that's scary that's happening. That's awful, but we got business to do and we don't have our feelings attached right now. All right, so they came in and did work. I'm going to be honest, that 49ers entire team is playing on a whole different level outside of Purdy, and Purdy's playing good. But the rest of that team, who's playing bad? Nobody.
And honestly,
Debo had a
I
rough
do
game,
think-
but like
And
yeah.
the Cowboys have one of the best pass rush in the game. Did Brock Purdy even get sacked last night?
Dude, that Niners
Yes.
offensive
Yeah.
line's legit.
What,
Yeah, he
once,
did.
maybe twice?
Yeah.
But yeah,
So
no,
even-
not
Also,
often.
I'm trusting
Not often.
Kyle Shanahan as a head coach more than Sirianni. Or
Well, here's
Taylor.
the thing about Shanahan. When it comes
Or
to big
Reed.
games, I was on my couch because don't forget I was rooting against
Don't
the
hate on
Cowboys.
Reed.
I was thinking Shanahan. Oh my gosh, it's gonna be another choke job. You know, we saw in Super Bowl 51 with the Falcons, Shanahan play calling, choke job. You know, throwing too many passes when you need to milk the clock. I saw it in the Kansas City Super Bowl 54 between the Niners and the Chiefs. Up by 11 with 10 minutes left. Another choke job. So I thought that Shanahan and that's my scare is that like.
But
Yeah,
this
I-
team is better than any other team he's ever had.
You're right, but I still
agree.
think Reed's the best coach left. I just think talent-wise, Shanahan's rocking with a
But who's a
dog
bigger
pack.
choke artist, Reed or Shanahan?
Well, I think
Shanahan.
Reed's
for
had
sure
the better-
Shanahan.
But Reed's had like generational teams every single
Time.
season.
Yeah, and who
And
did he
he's
run
won-
into? The
and
greatest
he's won
dynasty
one
of
Super
all
Bowl.
time.
Let's look at it
ran
this
into
way.
the greatest
One
guy-
time he played them. One time he played them.
He did.
Every other time he lost to the Bucks.
Bucks.
He lost to the Giants the one year. He was losing to teams that he shouldn't have lost.
Listen,
to,
every head coach with experience has choke jobs. I think every single one does. And you
Listen,
also have to,
Belichick gets more often than not wins than chokes.
You also have to put yourself in the position in the first place to even have a choke job, and that's an accomplishment in and of itself right there.
Agreed, but people don't remember the biggest choke artist for being,
You
almost did it.
Of course not, yeah.
But what I'll say is about
That was good.
about Shanahan, about coaching. What I see from the NFC, though, is that both of those teams, both the Eagles and the Niners, teams that kind of get ahead, right? They get ahead early, and they stall, right? Philly, again, and obviously, they were thinking about what they're going to get for dinner by halftime, for sure. But they scored 28 in the first half. They scored 10 in the second half.
I don't think the Niners are like that.
Dude,
the Niners have like the second best. I think they have the best second half point differential in football.
I got to be completely honest.
Giants were up there.
I wish we played the Eagles.
I agree.
I
They
wish
beat
I
them
played
in the
Eagles.
regular season, yeah.
Like even both games, even with Hurts, we had a backup quarterback in there. If they had Dak that first game, they would have won that game. Make no mistake about it. That second game, they beat Minshew, but the team still played, like, the Eagles were playing good. I wanted to see the Eagles versus Cowboys. I'm generally afraid of the 49ers, and I'm switching my take right now. 49ers are the best team remaining, in my opinion, on the roster.
I just can't give it to them just because Philly has just executed everything perfectly. With the quarterback play is a consistency. We said that. You said that, and I was giving you a disagreement a little bit on it. But Hurts really does. I've flipped throughout the whole entire whole entire show.
Fumbling words over here. Get it out, big boy.
Hurts makes that team. Hurts does. Compared to Brock Purdy making the Niners, and that's the thing too, is that you got A.J. Brown, who is a top 10 receiver that is insane, unstoppable. But that running game, you have 4 different people that could really take over in that running game for the Eagles. You got Hurts himself, you got Miles Sanders, you got Kenneth Gainwell, you got Boston Scott. Any of those guys can run for 100 yards.
For sure, but look at what San Francisco is bringing.
Oh, for sure. McCaffrey and Debo.
Here's why I believe the 49ers are better. Plug in ex-quarterback here. They still get it done. They've got it done with Jimmy Garoppolo, who's a hindrance.
Trey Lance.
Yeah.
They've gotten it done with Trey Lance, who
played a game and a half.
Yeah, literally. All right.
I've heard reports that they're going to get rid of Trey Lance.
They should.
You got Brock Purdy. Why wouldn't you?
Honestly, have Trey Lance be your backup behind Purdy.
He would never settle for that, though. He'd definitely try.
He's sitting on the sideline right now. He's not even hurt at this point.
Where's Trey Lance going to?
Baltimore.
I'd take him. I
know you would.
New Orleans.
I know you would. I'm telling you right now, though. I firmly believe you throw in Dak Prescott on the Niners. Boom, chip. You throw in even Daniel Jones. You throw Daniel Jones on that team. Boom, chip. I can't stand Jones. All right. There's a lot of guys that you can plug into this team and they still work. They have the last pick in the draft, a true rookie in Brock Purdy, and they are going to at least go to the NFC Championship. That's the fact of the matter.
I love Brock Purdy.
And he's played, 6 games?
7 or 8 now, I think?
7. He's 7-0.
7-0. The guy's undefeated, playing against some really good teams in the playoffs. All right, let's not act like the Cowboys were a joke. They kept it competitive. That was a tough game.
Everyone knew that defense was real.
Their players executed more than we did on offense. That's what it came down to.
That's what it is. Now let's go back to the AFC because we keep venturing back to the NFC because we got to talk about the Cowboys here. But
I don't want to.
It's fun. I like it.
Bengals, Chiefs, AFC Championship. We talked about Mahomes
rematch.
Probably Mahomes is saying he's going to play.
Yeah,
I believe he will.
I think it's undoubted.
He's limited.
What I'll say, I agree with that, and as you can call me crazy, with Patty Mahomes' health right now, if I'm the Chiefs, I'd rather Chad Henne start. I really would. He's won big games for him. He won the Browns game.
2
years ago.
I think you at least got to see what Mahomes can do. But that level of injury, dude, I'm telling you right now, I think Mahomes has made a career on rolling out of the pocket and coming up with some Houdini magic where you're like, wow, his athleticism really helps him do that. He's still got the arm, but the mobility is a game factor. He's not Lamar Jackson. He can run a bit, though. He gets out of the pocket, he scrambles, but his throwing on the run is what separates him from everybody else.
The way he can move his body, he can torts himself unlike any other player.
And how can you do that with a bum ankle?
He did do it. He threw like a layup floater on one ankle, but that's the point of why I wouldn't want to start Mahomes.
But also don't forget
what happens when you go home and take the cleat off? Swells up. And how long does it take for that swelling to go down? About a week and a half?
Yep.
But Matt,
Just never take the cleat off.
Hold on.
Literally.
Don't forget, Andy Reid can make a game plan that revolves with Patrick Mahomes not even moving.
Yes.
He can get guys motioning. He's the king of motions.
Why wouldn't you do that with Chad Henne then? He was perfectly healthy, and who knows the offense for the past 4
But
years?
would you rather have the guy with the best arm strength?
You got to rock with Mahomes and at least see what he can do the first quarter. If he looks that bad out there, you got to go with Henne.
But you can make that decision in practice this week. You can look at that in practice.
I bet you right now they're going to be rocking with Mahomes.
I'm
afraid of it because you have a completely healthy Joe Burrow with his number one favorite target.
Jamar, T. Higgins.
And who has a better connection in the NFL than Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow?
They have the best.
Maybe Kelsey and Mahomes, but Mahomes isn't banged up.
They have
Tua
the best.
and the ground.
They have the best. They have the best receiving trio in the league. The Bengals do. The Bengals really have the best receiving trio in the league.
Where you at?
But what I'll say is you're scared starting Mahomes because this is the team that you lost to last year in the AFC Championship game. Same scenario.
Bengals got their number. They've beaten them the last 3 times they've played. They're going to beat them a 4th.
Exactly. I mean, this year we saw it in Kansas City, right? It was in Cincinnati.
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
In 3 facets of the game, offense, defense, special teams, I think Cincinnati is the most complete.
Are you talking about in left in the playoffs? Or are you talking about AFC?
I think right now, because we talk about the San Francisco, they might be close. San Francisco, I think
sold on
Cincinnati is more complete than Philly right now.
I think we have 3 complete teams, and then we have a team that's carried by Patrick Mahomes and like 2
Travis
stars
Kelce
on defense and Travis Kelce. Like,
dude, you take Kelsey out of that team, even with Mahomes.
Are you kidding? Kelce is arguably more valuable than Mahomes.
No, that's what I'm saying
think
right
so.
now.
Like,
that's what I'm saying right now.
Mahomes has never played a game in his career without Kelce.
Because here's the thing, dude. Kelsey is the safety blanket that Jason Witten was with fully healthy Rob Gronkowski talent.
Yeah.
All right? Like, this is a guy who is arguably the second best tight end of all time. Some people say first. He could be. I don't know.
I mean, I don't even know who your first is.
Gonzalez for me.
So
I'd say Gronk.
I would say Gronk as well.
I think Gronk's number 2. But
Tony
Gronk
G
could be
is
number
there
1
too.
Because Gronk was before Kelsey came, and let's be honest, Gronk, they weren't passing as much at that like they are now with Kelsey.
I was going to say it's a little unfair that
going
way.
Up with them. But Gronk was number 2 in every category with playing half the game. So you could arguably say to me Gronk's number 1.
And also
1.
he has the postseason success as well.
For sure. Well,
but Kelsey's broken so many receiving records as a tight end.
Postseason tight end in the history of football.
Yeah, for sure. The only question is if
is Kelsey going to change that in the next 3 years? Though,
didn't want to be a gangbanger, he would have been probably the greatest tight end of all time.
Who?
Aaron Hernandez was always going to be number 2 to Gronk, though. He was always going to be number 2 to Gronk.
What's up?
Hernandez was always going to be number 2 to Gronk.
I don't know, dude. He was pretty good, man.
Always was.
And he looked like a better athlete.
He was. I mean, he's quicker. They move differently. I wouldn't say he's a better athlete because Gronk's much stronger.
For sure. I just mean like he was faster. He was shiftier.
They had him playing running back. It was the weirdest thing.
Yeah. And, dude, his hands, they were
he was
really good.
He was great, and that's why that's partly why that Patriot team in 2011 went to the Bowl.
But listen, let's come back here, man. We talked about who's complete and who's not. I want to know, right? I put out the question, what do the Bills got to do to get better, man?
I have no idea, honestly. I have no idea.
We thought the Bills, that was it. They look like the best
they need
team
a run
the first
game.
couple
They
of
need
weeks.
a run
that's
game.
cool.
They genuinely need a running back. I agree.
I think it's honestly
they keep plugging placing guys like Singletary and Zach Moss, and now this year it was
Zach Moss
James
is a
Cook
Colt now,
and
though.
James Cook. They keep getting these guys each year who aren't top the end running backs.
They were
They're
supposed to
cheap
make
on
a
running
move
back.
for Barkley, and they should have done it.
They're not going.
I don't know why. No, they're not going to now. But earlier in the season, right, they were talking about
And McCaffrey too.
They were linked to McCaffrey.
I thought they were
going
to get McCaffrey.
I really thought they were going to get
If
Barkley.
they had McCaffrey, there'd be no team stopping them right now.
Listen, some teams are just cursed by injuries at the very start of the season, and that's, I feel like, what happened in Buffalo. Micah Hyde was down week 2 or 3.
I was going to say that
Jordan Poyer was down. Tre'Davious White started the season on the PUP list.
And he struggled when he came back.
And that
struggled
too.
that game too, the last game that they played.
And then Josh Allen, sometimes he looks bad, and other times he doesn't look so bad. It's weird, you know what I mean?
Sometimes
most of the time he looks
like
good.
The best
And also,
quarterback in the league, and sometimes you're like, what are you doing?
Stephon Diggs hasn't shown up for a playoff game since the Minneapolis Miracle. let's get that straight.
Future Cowboys wide receiver, Stephon Diggs?
Teaming up with his
He
brother.
is a Cowboy fan.
I would love it.
He grew up a Cowboy. His brother's on the team.
When's his contract up, Stephon Diggs?
I think it's his
let's
final
check
year.
this out.
I think
This
it is.
year?
I think it is. Unless he I think he signed a big deal when he got to. But he's
but
been in Buffalo for 3 years.
4 years, I think he's been
Yeah,
in Buffalo.
yeah.
It's been 3
Pause
so
for
far.
Diggs,
Yeah.
Let's do it.
So I
So,
mean,
The contract, it was a 4 years and $96 million deal.
Next year's his last year.
That was
The Bills are
signed.
struggling.
No, his last year is 2027. Last year is 2027.
What?
Huh? You said it was his last year.
No, I said he signed a 4-year deal.
He just signed a
It
4-year
was
deal?
another extension. So it's an extension. He
Well,
signed.
he was yelling at Josh Allen during the.
Yeah, but he did the same
game.
thing to Kirk Cousins.
And then he left Kirk Cousins.
Fair enough, but I mean,
So here's my thing.
did they get as did he ever get as far with Kirk Cousins? He did not.
If I'm the Cowboys, I'm calling up. I'm
However-
asking, listen,
Diggs has a potential opt-out after next season. Or 2 seasons from now. 2 seasons from now, he can opt out.
like I said, if I'm the Cowboys, I'm calling up. What do you want? Here's what's
Zeke
untouchable.
for Stephon Diggs,
I don't
right?
think that's enough.
Terrible trade.
I think
It's a terrible trade. I agree.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'd probably give up Pollard for Diggs.
He's
already
a free
proved it.
agent, is he not? Is Pollard not a free
You
agent?
give him a deal and then you
Sign and trade. It's
Yeah.
it's not the
Sign and
NBA,
trade.
but
I realize with Diggs, so he's currently still on his Vikings extension. The one time with the Bills was after that. So he's got like 6 more years in Buffalo or 5.
The greatest trade in the history of NFL football. Stephon Diggs for Justin Jefferson.
I mean it is.
If
It
one of
is a
them-
great trade.
If
I mean,
one of
it's
them wins a
even.
championship, then yes. But
That's
like,
who won.
I don't know. I feel like
Well,
look
hold on.
at
If Diggs is out, Jefferson's still there. They probably won
Yeah,
that
right.
trade. Because let's be honest, Justin Jefferson
ain't leaving
is
right
the
now.
Vikings.
But how many championship games have the
Offensive player
Vikings
of the year.
gone to since then?
Not on him.
Not on him.
Not on
he's
him.
No, no. I mean he's the
He's the
offense.
offensive player of the year. He's the offensive player of the year by far.
He is. I mean, if the
Yeah.
MVP award was a non-quarterback award nowadays, he probably would be
honestly,
in MVP talks.
honestly, this year he probably should be the MVP because
He
there's
should.
no quarterback outside of Mahomes probably that is like the runaway MVP
So then you're
favorite.
saying voted for.
But I
voted
think
for
I think Tyreek
No, but
Hill
Mahomes
is
should
probably
get it. Mahomes
as
should get it.
as valuable of a receiver as Justin Jefferson was.
Yeah, I think there really isn't that many. If Cooper Kupp didn't win last year,
That's not gonna
then
happen.
it's like
It's not gonna happen.
That's
That was
like-
the greatest season a wide receiver's ever had in the history of football, ever.
Yeah, yeah,
And he didn't get it.
Yep.
Disrespectful.
I mean, it's
no, because
Dude,
Aaron
why is
Rodgers.
the
Aaron
MVP
Rodgers
a
needed his
quarter-
fifth. You know.
Dude, why is the MVP a quarterback? If I'm impacting the game with less touches, the quarterback touches the ball 99% of the game
No, the
on
entire
the
game.
offensive side.
Yeah.
No, unless you go Wildcat. That's the only way that he's not
Yeah.
touching it.
Well,
all right?
Well, how many teams?
And
use
if I'm
Wildcat?
impacting the game more with less touches, I think you really got to start considering wide receivers being MVPs. Travis Kelce, somebody get this man an MVP award for crying out loud. All right? I think here's what you got to do. If you're leading
If they do
your
that-
category by X amount, Travis Kelce has blown out the competition year in and year out. Kittle coming in second place. Andrews coming in second place. Waller coming in second place. And there's substantial categories in between that. I think it needs to come down to, hey, if I'm beating out my position by this much, all right, even though, like, yeah, Mahomes might throw up more touchdowns, but the second place guy might put up 3 less touchdowns. When Kelsey's over here with 7 more touchdowns and 300 more yards, how are you going to tell me he's not more valuable at his position?
But do you go back and like now vacate these MVPs, these old MVPs? What do
No.
we do with these old
Can't do
MVPs
that.
that
No,
were
it is
just
what it
straight
is.
quarterbacks? But then the legacies kind of change, don't they, a little bit?
You got to fix it while you can. Now, because you've already made that decision, yes, the quarterback is more valuable because it is a passing game, but they're all very close for most of the part. Mahomes separates himself a lot of the times, but down the stretch, it's like, okay, Mahomes is winning, and it's only by a couple of yards. By a couple, I mean like maybe like 100 or 2, all right? Even though he might have played the entire season, some guys might have missed, and we know they might have had the numbers, but of course, availability is the best ability, right? But if you're having the bigger impact, I think you got to give these guys their flowers. You cannot tell me Aaron Donald shouldn't have been an MVP at some
He
point.
should have been by now.
I hear you.
I agree. I mean,
What defensive tackle
J.J.
is
Watt.
putting up double-digit sacks
Micah Parsons.
closer to 20?
Nah,
he will.
Mike is.
He'll be there. He'll be there.
He could be in that discussion. Not
He'll be
yet.
there.
though.
Not yet. I don't think
Nick
Micah was
Bosa,
an
though.
MVP.
Lawrence
No, I
Taylor
would
won
say
an
Nick
MVP
Bosa.
once.
I think Nick
He
Bosa's
should've.
good for defensive player of the year this year. I don't think he's an MVP this year.
I'm talking about people that are just going to be defensive players of the years. Those guys are going to be what
No,
should be
absolutely
MVPs.
right. You're right, but
Robert Quinn in 2013, like, you know?
debatable. I just think that you got to give these guys some other flowers. So, anybody, final thoughts on the Buffalo Bills? I don't know how we ended up here. Where is it?
I mean,
Running
Get
game, that's all
healthy
you got?
and try it again.
All right, so a new
And get
trainer.
a running back.
All right,
new trainer, basically, yeah.
we already talked about the Giants. We already talked about the Cowboys. Dolphins.
No. Who's the other team that lost this weekend? Jaguars.
Jaguars.
I think it's just you.
Just keep building, man. Just keep building.
You're getting Ridley next.
Get Calvin Ridley.
You're getting him next season.
Add a couple more. Just keep growing. And
it's literally, you don't need to
They
do
need
it.
some defensive help, though.
They're on the way up.
That
That defense is really solid, though.
They do need some help, though. They need some guys in the safeties and corners.
I mean, Tyson Campbell's a pretty good corner out there.
I feel like they haven't had a bad. I really just think this team just needs to grow with chemistry.
Yeah,
what happened is what might happen, in my opinion,
Rookie
to the
head
Niners
coach.
this week is a young quarterback. You know, they won multiple games. How many games in a row did they win to get there? It was like 7 games in a row to get to the playoffs.
7 of their last 10 or 11, yeah.
So it's like
9.
So I think 7 of 9. I think they only lost 2 because they were already like
2-6
2
or something.
Etienne's a monster.
Etienne is a monster, and he got healthy. You know, he was coming off an ACL injury, Achilles injury.
No, it was Liz Frank.
Liz Frank, yeah.
Liz Frank?
Liz
That's
Frank.
the
The foot.
Oh,
It's
I was
underneath the foot.
Gotcha. I was like, who?
It's a rough injury. I think it's the Chet Holmgren injury, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So and that's the type of any of those type of leg injuries, foot injuries are the type that like it takes, especially in football, a minute. It takes snaps,
the whole
games
season
to recover. Literally.
Absolutely. I mean, you're constantly running with that much force. All you're going to do is just aggravate it.
So what I'll say for the Jags is that exactly. It's just that they ran out of steam and ran into a brick wall of a team.
They're on the way up,
but
though.
Mahomes hurt.
They're on the way up.
And
also, while the Bills have been on the way down.
I couldn't stand. Stop it. I couldn't stand Doug Peterson for all this time. I got to give that guy his flowers.
I hate Doug Peterson. But
I can't stand him.
He's a great coach.
But he has turned that franchise so much in the different direction. I'm telling you right now, 2 to 3 seasons, we're going to be talking about them in the AFC Championship.
Also, Trevor Lawrence has got to take care of the ball better.
We were 10 points away from that being the fact.
Yeah.
Of this
7.
Yeah. Even though they were winning the games down the stretch.
But dude, also, what is it, his sophomore year?
Hold on.
Sophomore year.
I'm saying, but even though they were winning those games down the stretch, Trevor Lawrence was throwing a lot of interceptions, and that's got to sort of.
He hasn't played well.
Daniel Jones turned around the turnovers. I think Trevor Lawrence is going to be just fine. Because no disrespect, I've disrespected him a lot of times.
That's a bit
but
already.
He never came into the league as a generational talent. The only time that you saw a quarterback with more hype around him than Trevor Lawrence was Andrew Luck, maybe?
Andrew Luck was probably the most recent
last
before
time
that.
We were like, wow, look
this
at this
guy,
This
you
is
have
gonna
to
be
get
the
this guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
I agree.
I think Bryce Young's going to be on that.
No, because we don't even think he's gonna be the first pick.
Yeah, I don't know.
We don't even think he's gonna be the first pick.
Who is
Will Anderson? And it's because
and Will Levis too for
Will Levis.
I was hearing him being taken over Bryce Young.
Because that's why Bryce Young is not a general.
There was never even a question of going
Trevor
Andrew
Lawrence,
Luck or Lawrence.
Yeah,
there was question. There's questions.
I won't lie to you. There was question about Luck. There was. Because RG3.
What about
RG3 with the Heisman?
What about Jameis?
Jameis is not a generation guy like that.
No, but when he was in the draft,
no, because there was still that's
Mariota,
the Mariota thing.
Yeah, but everyone knew he was going to get drafted over Mariota.
No, they didn't.
Mariota just
and I'll say the year after with 2 mid quarterbacks, Goff and Wentz. No one knew who was going to pick first or second. So it was 2 years in a row that happened.
Yeah, it was between Trevor Lawrence and Zach Wilson. There was no real debate there.
Yeah.
Well, originally it was Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields, which it should always have been.
And then it became Trevor Lawrence and Trey Lance
I don't know how
Zach Wilson.
Zach Wilson threw one great throw at his pro day, and
they tried to hoax the Jets into being bad again.
From the second round pick to the number 2 overall.
You know what it was today? That throw, because the way that he rolled out, the angle that it came in, it looked like a Mahomes kind of throw, and everybody went, "Wow!" And even I was like, "Wow!"
Can I just say this?
Was it enough though? I still thought Fields should have been by far the second pick, and it's not even close. And he's proving me right now.
Zach Wilson is our generation's Jamarcus Russell. You look at the stats; he's actually worse in some categories.
Well, he wasn't the first overall pick, though.
He was second, though, and it really was.
Then Ryan Leaf.
He's Ryan Leaf.
I'm saying ability-wise, I think Zach Wilson should be out of the league already. Honestly,
no, you're crazy.
It's literally
young,
the same thing as Jamarcus Russell.
Dude,
it's literally the same.
They
look the same on the field.
You got to give him some more time.
I agree with giving players time.
Dude, they gave up on him so fast. For what?
They gave up on Sam Darnold so fast. And I think Sam Darnold is playing better than Zach Wilson.
That's true.
I think Zach Wilson's got better tools, and I just think it's literally inexperience, and I think it's him. You looked at that kid, right? And here's the problem. You looked at that kid and went, in his rookie year, right? In his rookie year, you looked at him and you went, this guy's got to be the leader. He's got to be the guy. Because we're such a bad organization, all right? We don't have a leader. No. Who's the leader on that team? They've got one now.
They have an astounding defense, a good offensive line, young receivers, great running backs.
You're expecting this kid who's literally younger than most of the league to be the leader. You can't expect that. Are you kidding me? This is not a 10-year veteran. This is not a guy who's been an MVP or won a Super Bowl.
I think it comes from the organization.
Who got drafted higher than he should have, and you expect that's saying something about the Jets right now. But they're turning in a good direction. But let's be honest, all the negativity of this season, they've put it on this kid who they're probably going to ship out, and that's their way of moving in a positive direction.
They'd be lucky if they get anything from. What I will say, though, is I agree a little bit is the talent's there.
I think he has some value,
the talent's there. I mean, I think he's literally if Patrick Mahomes was just awful at playing quarterback but had that ability, that's what Zach Wilson is to me. You know, he has he can make throws. That's the point of that pro day thing. He makes throws that literally only about 5 people in the NFL can make. And the issue is he can't apply that into a game. And
I've seen it.
I've seen things, snippets of it. Go to the Lions game, right? Go to the Lions game. He has a clean pocket on 3rd down and misses Garrett Wilson by 8 yards. Elijah Moore, 8 yards. Next play, 4th and 18. He's scrambling. He's getting hit. He's throwing across his body, and he makes the play.
Well, time out. Let's not act like that kid hasn't run for his life the entire season.
Mike White. They were at Mekhi Becton the entire year.
Mike White.
That offensive line is not that bad.
Dude.
It is not that bad.
Everybody who comes into that system has gotten seriously banged up running for their life. All right? Taking massive hits. And I'm talking they barely have 2 seconds to throw.
The issue is that they lost the run game. Once Breece Hall went down, they lost the run game.
You're listening to Top of the Hour here on 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair. This is Aunt Mazz in the Midday.
Joe Forbes in the building.
Let's go.
But Forbes, here's my thing, right? You have who's supposed to be your generational guy at tackle out. You lose the run game. This is a midline, and everybody and their mother is coming for you because they know you're not running the ball.
I think missing Becton's actually a blessing in disguise. Becton is not cut. He's not cut for it.
I don't know, man.
At tackle right now. This season, I believe they had. Was it Morgan Moses starting, or is Morgan Moses somewhere else now?
He's on the Ravens.
He's on the Ravens. Oh, he is on the Ravens. That's right. So he was there the year before, though. I don't know the Jets tackles off the top of my head like that.
He's just young, dude. Both of him too. He's just young, and that's the thing. We are so. Whatever happened to the age of every sport? It feels like outside of baseball does this. If you are not an all-star, if you're a high pick
by your second year,
you're talking out of the league without even a second shot.
We were talking about Lonzo in the last in my show. Is that exactly that? The Lakers pick him high.
You don't think Lonzo could be comparable?
I wouldn't.
I think it's just injury history.
I think for Lonzo, we won't talk about that. But I think Zach Wilson, he's not.
You got to coddle.
He's not the level, but he's not the level of even Carson Wentz. You know what I'm saying? He's not even that.
I don't know. You don't know that yet because
and also he's 21. He's 21 years old.
He's a
baby. Who's Zach Wilson?
Yeah,
Zach Wilson's 23, 24.
No way.
Yeah, he was drafted at 21. It's been 2 years.
Still, dude, he's young.
Zach Wilson, listen, I'm willing to give him that he's young. I'm saying that he is by far the worst quarterback that started this year. And that's not okay.
Davis Mills.
Oh, I would take Davis Mills.
I don't know, dude.
All right, well, before we get off our NFL talk.
Same thing with Darnold, too.
Darnold's
young.
Yeah.
Darnold is young.
Before we get off the NFL talk, go ahead.
Let's just preview these conference championship games. We got Chiefs versus Bengals, and we have Eagles versus 49ers. Start with the AFC. We're going to give our quick predictions before the week's game. Connor, Chiefs, Bengals.
Give me the Bengals.
Joe?
Give me the Bengals.
Mazz.
More complete team. Their number one guy's healthy. You got to rock with the Bengals. Who they?
I think the Bengals get. I think right now they're probably the better complete team in the AFC. They're going to be going into Kansas City. I think Mahomes. They were saying this on the broadcast the other
that
last
game should
night.
be played at a neutral site.
No, the Bills game was going to be played at the neutral site. I think that's better for Mahomes because they would be playing in Atlanta in a dome, which is probably better for his ankle than playing in the 35-degree Kansas City weather.
Again.
I don't know why Bills-Bengals wasn't at a neutral site. I guess they just never thought about having that one there. Because if the Bengals had won that game, they would be the 2 seed and would have had a home field advantage. So that was, I feel like, the game that should have had the most neutral site playability out of all of them.
Well, they made a home out of Buffalo.
They did make a home out of Buffalo regardless.
I'll tell you right now, too, that happened because in the snow, what works? running the ball.
Yeah.
All right? Because I'm telling you right now,
Yeah.
Joe Burrow was not throwing heat. He was throwing good passes, but he's lobbing everything up, and it's just like everybody's up because they're worried about the run game that they couldn't stop.
And I mean, and that's where the frustration for Stephon Diggs came, is because that even as much as they have a great relationship, Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs, at least in the past couple of years, you know, they go to bat for each other. No receiving quarterback duo has as good a relationship as Jamar and Joe Burrow. There's
They played in college together, so you can't replicate that.
you can't.
And I think
They
the
came up
Bengals are
together.
going
Let's
to show
chip
it
together.
They're gonna show it this Sunday. They're going to go to their second straight Super Bowl, and then on the
they're gonna win
NFC side,
Oh boy.
Eagles, 49ers. Connor first.
Wow. This is really difficult. I have no clue where to go on this one, but gonna go with the 49ers.
I'll be rooting heavily for the 49ers. With that being
Such a
said,
hater.
oh my God, hell yeah. With that being said, I'm saying they're going to rock Brock up. Philly is a hard place to play. It's going to be Philly.
The ticket prices for that game are $800, but the AFC Championship is $400.
I'm telling you right
It's
now.
because Chiefs fans don't want to see their team get beat.
Yes, it's hard coming into Philly and playing, but I think playing against the Giants is not a good test for what you're going to be seeing against the 49ers. I think playing against the Cowboys is actually a good test for seeing what you're going to be seeing against the Eagles.
I wouldn't give it that. I would not.
On
I would
defense,
not.
absolutely. All right, and that defense is going to go from the Giants pass rush to the 49ers pass rush.
Don't disrespect the Giants pass rush.
Dude.
Yeah.
Kayvon Thibodeau,
I'm not
Leonard
Kayvon
Williams,
I
Thibodeau.
get that, but
Yeah,
where do
exactly.
they rank?
probably in the top 10.
It's we were like 13th, 12th.
That's what I'm saying. It's towards 10. Going from 10 to number 1 is a big difference.
Yeah, but the other thing too is
As opposed from going from 5 to 3.
I don't see the point you're making. I think that like those things don't really compare. What I will
It
say,
absolutely compares.
what I will say is that the run game that the Niners are gonna have to deal with in Philly,
I get that, but what about the run game that the Philly's going to have to deal with?
they neutralize the Giants' run game, and the Giants' run game is the fourth in the league.
I think there's more talent. You can go Debo. You can go McCaffrey. Who's the backup?
Elijah Mitchell?
Yeah.
He's
Daniel
solid.
Jones
He
had
looked
just
okay, too.
ran for 75 yards, 79 yards before the week before. Again, we talk about
Completely
Vikings.
different, dude. You act like that doesn't correlate. You're talking about a Vikings team who is towards the bottom end of defense.
But it
we're
doesn't-
talking about the
I'm
pinnacle
saying-
of
but
NFL defenses in the Niners.
That's not what we're talking about. I'm talking about Daniel Jones. I did not say anything about really it being the Vikings, because consistently Daniel Jones is a 700-yard rusher at the end of the day. As a quarterback, that's fourth in the league. So, and you also have an over 1,000-yard rusher in Saquon Barkley that the Eagles neutralized completely. I mean, Saquon only had 4 carries going through to the second half.
Listen, I just saw that 49ers line handle Dallas very well. They're going to be able to handle Philly well.
I'm going to say...
Are they?
They are.
No, they're not. That offensive line, Mike McGlinchey is an awful tackle, and that Eagles team has 4 double-digit sack defensive linemen. That is a hard thing to handle. For rookie quarterbacks to have to deal with that too, especially as great as Mr. Irrelevant's been, that's a heavy
Joe,
plate.
you might have convinced me with that last point. You might have convinced me.
Thank you.
Eagles, they need the running game to start going better because Miles Sanders has been really quiet.
They didn't need
Boston
it.
Scott did it against the Giants again.
Don't say the name.
Don't
Just
say
don't
that.
say it.
That's the bane to every Giants fan's existence. But I mean, you got to get Miles Sanders going if you're the Eagles, because if he gets bottled up and you guys require solely on Jalen Hurts, I don't think Jalen Hurts can go head to head with that 49ers defense without a run game.
Dude, the 49ers defense is the
He
number
is-
one run
Hurts is the
defense
run
in the game. They're the number 1 defense in rushing.
I mean,
You guys are
that's
underselling.
that's unarguable for sure. I mean,
You guys
but
are
that's
underselling
but
how good this 49ers team is, man.
I'm not underselling it. It's just that it's hard when you got the offense here for Philly that really parallels to the Niners defense. It's a clash of titans in that aspect of it. But then you go for the Eagles defense against the Niners offense led by a rookie quarterback. That's the discrepancy there.
I feel that, but he's undefeated.
It's been
He's
7
been playing
games.
teams.
Give me the Eagles. I'm gonna go Eagles in this
I'm
game.
rocking 49ers, dude. I think they're going all the way.
Hurts has 1 loss this season.
Fair. It's going to be a good one.
It's going to be a great one. It's
It was the what? The Commanders?
I'm telling you right now.
Exactly.
I'm telling you right now, the week before a game has an impact on how you play.
I think this is probably the best conference championship matchup
Nobody's
of the
banged
last
up.
5 years, 6 years.
No, that
This
Actually-
Eagles-Niners game is probably the best conference championship matchup.
I stopped myself because I forgot that the Bills-Chiefs game last was a divisional. I forgot
2
about
years
that.
ago, Bills Chiefs though.
Fellas,
That's not as hyped up as this one's gonna be.
Bills got blown out that
These
game.
two teams, the Eagles and Niners, are the two best teams in football.
I'm
and
telling
they're
you,
going
I'm
against
telling
each
you,
other.
Eagles get up 10, up 14. It's over for the Niners already. You know, it's
I don't think they're going to be able to do it. I don't know, man.
They've
We'll
done it
see what
consistently.
happens.
You know who's gonna be an X factor on that Niners defense? Halafunga.
Yeah.
he is goated. He is great. I love
Troy
Halafunga.
He is Troy
And
Polamalu
protege.
Jr. He has the hair. He could time a blitz better than any safety in football right now.
I remember the one hit on Dak that he spun out of it, but it caused the sack and it kind of really stalled that drive out. That's a funga. I don't know.
Halafunga.
Talanoa Hufanga.
Halafunga.
Funga.
There you go.
Dude, I'm telling you, there's talent everywhere. They're the number 1 ranked defense for a reason.
I'm not knocking
Arik
that.
They
Armstead.
got weapons everywhere.
So I'm guessing you're picking the Niners.
Dude, I'm telling you. It's going to be a battle.
This is I'm not trying to knock any of the teams in these playoffs. This is the best matchup in the conference championship.
This game, I'm telling you right
possibly
now,
ever.
this matchup is going to decide the Super Bowl for me.
What conference championship game?
Last year's was awesome too. Rams Niners.
That
Rams,
wasn't as
Niners
hyped up
was
as this one's going to be. Because the
about-
Niners were not the Niners of
We
this
live
year.
on the
I'm
east. We
thinking
live on the
about-
East Coast,
They
and
didn't
on the
even-
West Coast, that's a rivalry. On the West
No,
Coast,
I
that
understand
went
that,
crazy.
but they didn't even have McCaffrey yet.
I'm thinking about
Right.
Niners.
This Niners team-
Seahawks 2013.
This Niners
One
team,
of them was a wild card team. They weren't a top seed.
this Niners team is probably better than any other Niner team. They've already been to the Super Bowl.
Well, we also got to say this too: is that it's the 1 and 2 playing against each other. We don't really get that often. We don't get that often where
And
it's the
I'm
1
going
and
to
2.
be honest, if they had Brock Purdy, he's played better than Jimmy Garoppolo in this system.
I agree.
No, it's literally statistically proven. He's played better.
Yeah.
If they go with Brock Purdy, not that you would, because it wouldn't have made sense, but who knows? Maybe if they go with Brock Purdy,
He's our future. I agree. I believe that. I genuinely believe that.
they might have been the first. They might have been the best team in football, and we just never got to see it because they were rocking the old grizzled vet.
You can
Off-
thank
off-
Jerome
off
Baker and
sample side,
Jalen
though.
Phillips for Brock
Hey,
Purdy getting playing
We'll see
time.
what happens here, guys, but I think we got to go to a break. We'll be back with some basketball talk. Another Forbes list coming right back at you. Don't go anywhere. And maybe, just
Some
maybe,
baseball talk.
a little baseball talk for Ant so he can say that he got to talk some baseball. That's it. We'll be back here on 90.3 WMSC, Upper Montclair. Ant and Mazz in the midday.
In the midday. You are listening to 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair and Mazz in the midday hour number 2.
Hour
Well,
dose.
it's 45 minutes left, but you know what I mean?
It's hour
You had to
two.
be that guy?
It's
Yeah, I
hour
did.
You
two.
had to be that
I
guy.
did.
We just pulled an Artie. We just pulled an Artie.
I can't stand
It's
it.
top of the hour at 4:30.
WMSC
4:30.
Upper Montclair.
At
you
WBC
tell
Upper
somebody
Montclair.
And this is...
And
Mazz
Mazz
in
in
the
midday
midday.
because we
No,
don't
you
want
gotta
to
do
talk
it
about
like
match
this.
week.
You can't do it like that. You gotta do it like this.
This is... Mazz in Midday.
Welcome
Shout-
back, everybody.
Shout out, Artie.
Now it's time for our basketball talk. We actually have a Forbes list.
Yes, sir.
Joe,
Yes, sir.
you want to introduce it?
How we doing? This is the Forbes list. So these are the 5 players that will be a part of the NBA trade talks during this NBA trade deadline that is approaching rapidly.
Oh, so you're saying they're definitely moving, in your opinion?
In my opinion, these
Or
guys
they should be.
they should be gone.
Okay.
They should be gone, and we'll talk a little bit
Gee,
on each one.
I wonder who number 1 is.
Num-
Number 5.
Number 5. Oh, you want me to go to number 5? Number 5. I'll sneak it in because Miami Heat fan. Kyle Lowry.
I love it.
Kyle Lowry. Due to the fact that, first off, his deal,
He's definitely not playing like the contract for sure.
correct,
But
not playing.
if he can do what he did last night for that minute and a half, but like all the time, that'd be great.
So he'll do that for hopefully another organization.
Kyle Lowry.
Hopefully another organization.
In 34.2 minutes of play this season, 12.8 points
You know it.
on 40.9% shooting, 4.4 rebounds, 5.4 assists. The only one that I'm happy with is the 5.4 assists. All right, that guy's got to be better. I think Miami's a better organization than he's for. You have a big three who is averaging 20 points for the season. Who does that? All right, You get them an actual point guard who can score. You bring in a big potentially that can play some defense. Miami's in a good position. What are they, 5th right now?
Sixth.
6th. They were as high as 5th. They dropped back down.
I don't think they ever reached
They
5.
they couldn't hit 5.
I don't think they ever got there.
They never got there because the Cavs
The
have
Cavs
a
just
3
won't
game
go
lead
away.
on them.
Yeah.
But
Cavs are next, though. They're coming.
But for 4, it's a bigger name. He was moved already. Let's see if we can do it again. Rudy Gobert.
No, they're not going to move him after 5 picks they traded for him.
They got to.
There's
They
no
got
way
to.
They can.
They
can't
have
do it.
to.
You can't do it.
You have to try. It's not working. Blow it up. You got to go. He's got to go.
I'm going to let you keep on going back at him at this. Why don't you
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Keep going.
You trade away 5 first-round picks, your entire future to get this guy, and in half a season you're going to abandon the project. That's not possible. That's fireable
Listen,
offenses.
here, let
if
me
you're
tell
the
you
GM.
something.
It is. But that's why
Sometimes
You
the
can't
Timberwolves
salvage your
are a
job.
mess.
Sometimes people realize they messed up, right? So instead of trying to fake it till they make it, why not at least let's be real about it and get rid of the situation move on while you can.
Listen, that's the worst. We talked about this. It's top 3 worst trades in NBA history.
It was bad.
Was it number 2 on our list or number 3?
I think we put it 3.
I think it was at 3. That Jabbar one was. Nobody's ever been robbed like that in the history of any trade ever.
And then the Paul Pierce, Terry, and
That one was bad.
Garnett
too.
trade
Yeah.
for the Nets.
But regardless, I love the take. This is the Forbes list, and
Yeah.
he went hot for number 4.
Yep.
All right, and I think Connor makes a good point. It ain't gonna work. All right, he's not what you thought he was,
And if they already realized
and that
it-
trade ruined the NBA. Please, somebody fix it and actually trade him for what he should have been traded for in the first place. Maybe a first, maybe.
I just don't see it happening.
It-
I mean, it doesn't sound bad on paper. Like, if you're the Timberwolves, you should be looking to do that.
Yeah.
But will any team want a guy like Rudy
Well, it
Gobert?
depends on. I think
After
they would
the-
want
the-
him. It just depends on what you want for him.
Also, the Timberwolves are going to ask for a lot.
Of course, 'cause
They have to. They have to recuperate.
Momos
They have to
gave
recuperate
up
it.
so much.
Yeah, since they gave up so much, they're going to ask for a lot in return, and no team's going to want to get that. Rudy Gobert is a one-dimensional defensive player. He can't guard the perimeter. Literally, all he can do is just stand down low and block shots from 10 to 5 feet out. That's it. That's his entire job. He can't play offense that well. He has no post game. He can't shoot. So why would you give up 3 or 4 first-round picks for a guy who's totally one-dimensional?
Because he covered the whole league.
He's so bad. He
covered
really,
the whole league.
He really is bad.
He single-handedly shut down the league, man.
He did. Greatest
All right.
greatest defenseman ever.
Yeah.
I feel like
Number
he's Jaren
3.
Jackson.
Number 3, and actually Xavier spoke about it earlier, was Kristaps Porzingis.
Oh, I like that. Where would you
Tingus
like to
Pingus.
see him?
Well, hey, Washington just traded Roy Hachimura today.
Yeah, I mean they're selling.
Come
I
to
think
Miami,
they're selling.
Kristaps.
Kristaps would be a good for. I don't really love it though. I don't
I
really
think you
love
need
it.
a more physical guy than Kristaps.
Yeah, that's what the argument was earlier.
I know he averages 22 points a game, but that is 22 points with him being the second option. You don't want a guy that's going there. He'd probably be your third option. He's a better scorer than Bam, I'd say.
No.
I think so.
Bam,
He's a better shot.
Bam can run offensively. He can run like a point guard, and he can make himself. He has a great mid range shot.
Time out. Bam,
Very good finesse.
Bam is the better passer, probably offensive player. Is he the better scorer? Kristaps got him by 2 points.
I think-
Kristaps can shoot threes.
I was going to say Kristaps.
It's
can,
better
and
than
he's 7'3".
Caleb Martin, though, so I will take it.
Look,
but
I'm
there's
gonna
no
be honest with
defense.
you. If you could get Gobert for the low, and I mean like legitimately the low,
Legitimately.
that would legitimately the low. That might work. I think Kristaps.
That
is too
contract's
soft.
bad. though. The
Gobert
contract's
ain't gonna
bad.
work because then if him and Bam are both on the floor at the same time, and both of them don't shoot threes, there's gonna be nowhere for anyone to drive
No
to the
spacing.
paint
There's no
because there's gonna be
spacing.
no spacing.
No, there's
That
no,
won't
I
happen.
like it better. I like it better than pairing it up with Kristaps.
Nah,
Kristaps is
Porzingis
soft,
will
man.
at least get
You need
someone
a
on the-
physical guy down low for Miami. Kristaps ain't the guy. I don't even know where I'd like to see him.
I don't know where I'd like to see him either, but I just know that
It's not Washington.
it got to be a contender.
Stop, dude. There's nothing they can do. They're selling. That's it. They're bums.
Clippers need shooting. They need offense.
They need everything.
What are they giving up though? What are they going to give up to the Wizards?
John Wall. The return.
They don't want that.
return?
They don't want that.
John Wall the 2 firsts. You wouldn't take that for Kristaps?
No.
John Wall and 2 firsts.
I wouldn't
for
want to
Kristaps.
pay that for Kristaps. 2 firsts for Kristaps? No. I don't want
And
that.
John Wall.
I just think it's a.
I think that's a bad
that
deal for the Clippers. I think
think
if I'm the Wizards, you can't get me over the table fast enough.
I think
All
if
right?
you're either side, that's an awful deal. I don't think either team gets marginally better, And I think that at the end of the day, it's all about what the Wizards do with those picks.
If you're going full rebuild, which they might because of the Hachimura acquisition, right? I think they would want 2 firsts for Kristaps.
What are you going to do with the Clipper picks, though? What are the Clipper picks going to be, though? Are they going to be lottery? Are they not? You know, that's a thing.
Well,
and
it does not have to be necessarily this year's draft's pick. It could be
sure.
down the line. And
I know, but
the way they're going, their stars are never healthy. That could turn into a lottery pick potentially.
True. I mean, but exactly. I mean, Wall has played weird. He's fit weird with the Clippers. As weird is the best word I could use. Because, I mean, you plug and play another point guard there, and they'd probably flourish better. Wall's been on and off. I mean, he plays like 26 minutes a game.
Yeah,
I think
he's
it
not
is.
incredibly efficient, but he gets rebounds.
He does. I mean, as a point guard, he definitely does. And as a point guard that's old, I'll move to my second person on the Forbes list.
What about OKC?
For Porzingis.
For Porzingis.
What are they going to give? Pokashevsky?
They have all that draft capital.
That's true. I think that the Wizards would need a player, though, because they need somebody right now for the future. You know, they already got rid of Hachimura. That's pretty much their big promising guy on that team. Because Denji, I don't know how to say his name.
I think the Wizards are just playing for draft capital. They want picks.
That would be good. I mean, again,
they don't need a young player.
I mean, what are we doing with Brad Beal then? If you're the Wizards, honestly,
You already paid him.
I know. So like,
and no one's gonna want that contract.
And honestly, he is. He's like, I'm not knocking Brad Beal. Brad Beal's one of my favorite players to watch, but he's a number 2 guy. When we were talking about this earlier, if you're building a championship team, he's at best a number 2 guy on a championship team.
Take shots like a number 1
You know who
guy.
could use a Kristaps
Yeah.
Porzingis? It's not going to happen. I think the Suns.
The Suns could.
I think the Suns could really use him.
But here's the thing: you wouldn't like this deal. I'm not saying they should do it. I'm saying this is what the deal would be. Ayton would be involved.
I'm fine with that. Ayton's soft. You're getting a better offensive player. You fill in JaVale McGee there. I'm fine with rocking with JaVale McGee's inside defense.
And you got
and you space it with another
Porzingis at the
tower
4?
who can block shots. Why not? That would work. What are you doing? You're getting a soft player off your roster in Ayton. You're bringing in a guy who's a much better offensive player, in my opinion. He can do more in just.
So your
as much
starting
as he
5
can.
would be CP3, Devin Booker.
CP3's out, and Devin Booker's on the IR, so it's like
yeah.
there's no one really that can.
No, that's fine, but they'll be coming back. So you'd
Michael
be rocking
Bridges.
with Bridges, Porzingis, and JaVale McGee. I like that squad. I'm
Biombo,
not saying they're winning a championship.
I think
I'm
Biombo
saying
plays
they're getting
more.
farther.
Biombo would play more at center than JaVale, I think.
That's fine too, because what do they both do? They're both defensive anchors.
It's fair.
All right.
Fair enough. I think.
And what do you need with Porzingis? A guy who can handle the physicality, because he can't.
I don't think JaVale or Bismack though play. I mean, especially at their point in their career right now, I don't think they play well enough to be a starting center like that to replace Ayton.
When you just need a guy who's just literally going to grab rebounds and just grab blocks, because you're already replacing the scoring with Kristaps and the rebounding.
It's about, even though Ayton's a bit of a pushover, he still does contend with centers today. I don't think.
All right,
I will see.
Forbes
Number
next
2.
guy.
Number 2 is, again, this is a role player, Derrick Rose. Derrick Rose is involved in a lot of trade talks. The Knicks are going to move off from him. They already have kind of shown that. And they said they want to send him to a contender. I'd love to see him in Chicago again, but we'll see where they put him.
I'm going to be honest with you. I'm a
Denver.
little upset with this.
Denver.
I would like to see that, but I'm a little upset with this take from Forbes. I thought he was going to go more spicy here. I wanted to hear Zach LaVine. I wanted to hear DeMar DeRozan, one of the two, and I think LaVine's the more likely.
You think they're blowing up the Bulls?
I know they're blowing up the Bulls. I know because LaVine's already having problems with management. They're not looking that great. They're at the bottom of the playoff picture right now.
Fair enough.
What are they going to do? They're starting point guards out, all right, and he has an injury problem. I think it's time.
I think they're saving it for the next year. I think that they can piece it together. I think Vucevic has played really awfully, and I think that he'll be in trade talks too, but he's not going to be my number 1 guy. But
if we're going back to Derrick Rose.
Yep.
Derrick Rose, though,
I think Denver would be a great spot.
Denver is a really good spot. He could really back
What
up
are they gonna give
Murray
up, though?
like that. It doesn't have to be too much.
I don't think they need to do anything right now if you're Denver. They're the best team, I think.
But if you add a point guard in your point guard depth,
Sure. Why not?
especially Derrick Rose, former MVP,
you're not going to want to give up bones for
Just-
Derrick
it
Rose.
just
could be an
depends on what you're
emotional
giving up.
leader.
I don't know. I think that we said it earlier for Porzingis. I think the Thunder. I think you saw the Thunder how they played well when they had CP3 as a veteran point guard it's a different team. Don't get me wrong, but the Thunder are going to be a play-in, play-off
Thunder
team.
are definitely going to trade for someone this year.
I think it'd be good for them to have that Derrick Rose in that locker room with SGA playing. They're not going to play meaningful playoff games. Don't get me wrong, but that team is going to get playoff experience, and I think
Chet
that
comes
Derrick
back
Rose
next year.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Chet's going to be crazy. I mean, hopefully he can really play like an NBA big.
All right, how about this for Derrick Rose? Sacramento Kings.
I like that too. Him with De'Aaron Fox.
It's not bad.
I think. Ooh, you got a caller.
It happens like once every 2 weeks,
Why
I think.
does it always happen?
Is it?
It's only
Real?
this show. It's never happened to me.
No,
never
it's
happened
been
to
on
you.
other shows.
Oh.
Every show I go on, it feels like someone's calling, and it's always
Pick up
a
the
collect
phone,
call.
baby.
Pick up the phone.
You just
baby.
landed B. That's fantastic.
All right, so
As I was saying,
You gonna let it ring?
I always let it ring. I don't want to.
See what they're talking
Mid-show.
about.
we have we're mid-show. We don't have that much time left. All right,
Fair enough.
we got a screen caller. We don't got a budget for it. All right.
Oh god. Okay.
So unless I don't mean the radio station, I mean like our show. All right, we don't have a budget. We're broke. All right. So unless you want to come and take over duties, that would be great.
Hey, Joe Forbes, want to be a call screener?
You want to be a
going
producer
forward?
of Mazz in the Midday?
No, I'm all right.
It's all
Thank
you, man.
Thank you.
But as I was saying, I think Rose has value. I think there's bigger names I think I'd want to see moved. Where is he right now? Is he still with the Knicks?
Who's with the Knicks?
I mean, like, they're contending. So, like, oh, well, but is there a spot for him is the question.
That's the issue.
I don't think so.
They took him out of the rotation, really.
So, I think, I'm going to be honest, even the Clippers should be looking at him. All right? Because
I mean, you got
John
two-
Wall's not working out.
Yeah.
We know Derrick Rose still got something left in him. You know,
And he got a little fight in him.
Anybody who's looking for a point guard, Lakers, go make another phone call. All right? It's team-friendly deal.
I don't know, Rose. You saw when Rose was barely on the Cavs. It doesn't really work with LeBron, but we'll see. We'll see. Number one.
Oh, gee.
It's not that hot of a take. It's not. We had to talk about it on my show earlier.
Yeah.
John Collins. I think John Collins is moving.
Wait, you think after like 5 years of being on the trade
You're
talks?
telling me Russell Westbrook wasn't the #1 pick finally?
I was gonna put
Not even in the top 5?
I think
Forbes,
they
I
got
can kiss you on the forehead right now.
They got to eat Russ. They got to. Russ is staying. I don't think Russ can move. Honestly, I think that's an immovable contract.
I think it's
It's like trying to
movable.
trade Chandler Parsons back in the day.
It is. It's like trying to trade. That's a perfect
Dude, you keep
reference.
on hearing these Damian Lillard talks. I don't think it happens. I don't think it's enough because all you got.
It's not gonna happen.
Like the money would work because then they could just eat it for the rest of the season.
They're not going to eat it though.
No, I know, but I'm saying hypothetically, hear me out. They could have eat it for the rest of the season and then bring in whoever they want. They got $40 million to play with, but 2 picks is not enough to get Dame off that team. So it's just not going to work.
It's just not.
You know, I wish it would.
Who
I
signed
really
to the
wish it would.
Supermax contract of whatever $1 million.
Yeah, I wish it would work, but it's just not going to. But John Collins,
Yeah, I mean,
it's done.
it's done. That relationship in Atlanta, it's over. It's over.
Trey wants out too.
Who'd you say?
The Trey wants out.
Trey
too.
Young
Trey?
wants out.
For sure, and I
And
think
you know
Both
what?
to Miami. Let's get them
And I'm
both.
going to be honest with you. You got Murray now. I'm fine with Trey moving on. I actually prefer Murray. He's a better defender. He can score the ball too. Yes, Trey's a better shooter, but Trey is a defensive.
They've been shooting
hazard.
bad this year too.
Trae Young is a defensive liability and a half. But yeah, with Trae Young specifically on that team, yeah, sign and trade. He's definitely gonna get moved from Atlanta. He's not staying there, but he'll sign.
Yeah.
But yeah. So for Collins, I mean, I really want him to be in Miami, of course.
I hear you.
But I mean, listen, as crazy as it sounds, I mean, I could see a Knicks deal. You know, Mitchell Robinson, some picks, send Collins to New York. He'll work well with Julius Randle. Who's 4, who's 5? I don't even know. But
I feel like they would be a little undersized.
Sure, but I think that they're both gritty and active at the board, and on top of that, they can. But the issue is that they're both a bit of a back-to-basket scorer, so it'd be kind of hard to kind of mix that.
Collins is 6'9".
Yeah, and so is Randall. But I mean,
that'd be the same thing in Miami if that
that's
happened.
what I'm
So
saying.
exactly, it'd be
That's
no
what I'm
different.
saying. It's not really any different.
I've been seeing
Collins. I would like to see maybe even Utah. Utah would be a crazy move. You know, him and Markkanen in the front court there.
Still small.
It's not though. Markkanen's 6'11".
Yeah, but he played.
Lowry's
but
Lowry's
he's
6'11".
Yeah, he
Get
is.
him in Miami.
Get him in Miami.
Get him in
not,
Miami.
dude,
He's a
tall.
stretch 4 though. He doesn't even play
That's
in the
what
paint.
I'm saying. He's not physical, man.
Yeah, but you got Collins.
He's a 7-footer. What?
I don't know.
What?
I feel like
Get him
That's
in
why,
Miami now.
that's why he was the fourth pick. He was the fourth pick.
I was thinking this whole time he was like 6'7", right? So I'm like, all right, yeah, in Miami be
I
cool.
feel like the
but
Mavs
like,
just makes too much sense for Collins.
For John Collins. But,
Yeah.
I mean, we saw how the Christian Wood experiment worked there. We saw how Porzingis worked there. What's going to work
Something
from
has
Dallas?
To, you have to do something, right?
Shaq.
I think so.
And you could
51-year-old Shaq.
They need Joel Embiid. That's how it's gonna work.
Hey, speaking of Joel Embiid, 76ers on a tear recently.
2
Huh?
seed right now.
Number 2
Yeah.
seed, Joel Embiid. He's that dude, man.
He is that dude.
Is Maxey back?
Dude,
Maxey is coming back
the Heat
this week.
should have taken him instead of Precious Achua in the draft.
Listen,
first of all, Tyrese Maxey
coulda,
is one of my
shoulda,
favorite point
woulda.
guards in this league.
But look at
21 people
the
picked
Sixers,
things before.
The Sixers are winning without Maxey.
I love
Think
that.
about
kid.
when he comes back, how good that team is going
You
to
sound
be.
like a Philly fan just saying that.
I'm
Honestly,
a Nets fan.
I know you are.
Can
I'm
we
saying
please
you
just talk
sound like
about the
someone from
string of
Philly.
games since January 10th for Joel Embiid.
Let's hear about
Since
it.
January 10th, up until January 19th, I believe he missed the game
So it's 4
yesterday,
so it's 4
2 days
games?
ago on the 20th. No. It's, I believe, 7 games. January 10th against Detroit, 36 points. January 12th, OKC, 30. Utah on the 14th, 30. The Lakers, 35 on the 15th. 41 against the Clippers on the 17th. 32 against Portland on the 19th. Now, granted, if you look at this, they've had a pretty decent schedule for him to do that against. But I don't care, man. You're going on a tear, and you're averaging well above 30 for that. That's insane. I don't care who you are.
How many? I'm not taking anything away because honestly, I think that's borderline what I expect
But
from
what do
Embiid.
all of those teams lack?
A big.
Probably the best one that you're working with is the dude. It's probably Sabonis,
Sabonis is an all-star.
but
Sabonis
Sabonis
is-
ain't guarding him.
No.
And then the only one
No.
who I could think that could actually throw a body
Thomas
at him.
O'Brien.
No, I was honestly gonna say Nursef. Honestly, if he's not injured again for the 90th time.
You're saying Yusuf Nurkic?
Yeah,
Yeah, I think he's active. I think he's active.
I don't even know anymore.
I don't even know though.
But hey,
honestly.
JoJo doing work, Philly doing work.
JoJo's is that I'm sure about half those points. No disrespect to Philly fans because I mean as a Giants fan, everyone Philly always not going to like me, but I think a lot of that was free throws. You know, I think that definitely. I was going to ask
Points.
Points are points. Don't get me wrong, and I know my boy Jimmy Buckets hits the line a lot, but
Oh boy, yeah.
I mean. Joel Embiid, he's a hard guy to stop. You got to hack him inside when it comes to that. But it is what I come to expect. You know, I mean that's why he's been second in MVP voting the past 2 years to Jokic. Which, by the way, crazy idea. I just thought about it. What if Jokic and Luka teamed up? I think that'd be the craziest duo ever.
They don't need to though.
But their usage
Do
rates
they?
are
And where's
crazy
the
high.
defense?
Both of their usage rates are crazy
Where's the
high.
defense?
The other 3 starters on the court.
You know,
Well, Embiid.
yeah,
Dwight Powell.
You'll be doing great on offense. You might be able to outscore everybody for a stretch, but
But taking the ball out of one of their hands is going to make them way worse players.
What are you talking about? Luka gets to distribute to Jokic. I think more than Jokic would distribute to Luka.
That's
I
the
don't
other
know.
way around. I think Jokic would distribute to Luka more than Luka distributes
I'm
to
going to be
Jokic.
honest with you. I think it would literally work of Luka bringing the ball down, setting up the offense from the post, and then looking for Luka for a wide open shot.
Oh wait, you said if
I don't know.
Jokic and Luka teamed up.
Yeah.
I thought it was Embiid and Luka
Dude.
teaming up.
I think that'd be better. I
Jamal
think that'd be
Murray
better.
needs some flowers, man. He's got that team, and make no mistake about
Jamal
it.
Murray is that guy.
Jamal Murray is a quintessential Robin right now to Jokic's Batman, because if he ain't there, they are not looking at a 1 seed.
I agree.
All right. I'm telling you right now,
MPJ too. MPJ.
Yeah.
He's
He's
been,
Alfred.
He's Alfred. That's
That's
facts. That's facts.
That
That's
is funny.
that's good. That's good.
But fellas,
Just
I
like
don't know.
Kyrie in Boston, not Boston, the Nets 2 years ago.
I just like I said, yo, God,
What?
Kyrie in Boston. What an experiment
That was.
I think
Danny
that's
Ainge, how dare
that's one
you?
of those trades I feel like where it's a
28
double-sided
points per
loss.
Game.
I just-
Isaiah Thomas, and you disrespected him the first chance you got.
I just want to see him back in Boston. I know that they're like literally the East, right? Like
They're ahead by 4.5 games.
I just want to see Isaiah Thomas for the amount of
I just want to see
third,
Isaiah
fourth,
Thomas
fifth
and
champs.
Kemba Walker.
Kemba
Get-
Walker.
What happened with the Dallas Mavericks?
I don't know. I thought he was doing all
on
right.
a tear, and then all of a sudden he's gone.
Yeah, I think they didn't re-up a 10-day with him. That's what I think what it was.
I don't know, dude. He went on a tear, and I promise you he's doing better than anybody else you got there except Luka.
I mean, at point guard, who do they really even have?
Dinwiddie, come on.
Barely even a point guard. Because
Yeah.
Luka's the point guard
Yeah.
to an extent, but he really is a 3. He's really a wing. You know, that's where he gets his most open shots, but it's because he plays that ISO ball and
Same thing
is
with the Lakers.
distributing.
I cannot fathom why they didn't go and get a Kemba Walker when you literally need a scoring guard.
Because you got
He's still
Kendrick
there.
Nunn, bro.
He's still
No,
there.
you had Kendrick.
You had to
now
get
you got
Kendrick.
Roy Hachimura, which I'm okay with it. It's not flashy. It's a solid role player move. It's another person I think that can defend. I know he can stretch it out a bit, you know. So I don't hate the move. You got Nunn off the books, which is great, but you still ain't going nowhere.
I think when LeBron leaves, again, Rui will kind of step in a little more and flourish. He's 24, but he's still
When
early
AD
in
gets
his
back,
career.
he'll probably be playing like the 6th man, and Russ will move down to 7 probably on the depth chart.
No. I think Hachimura will start at the 3 or 4. I think he will.
I'm with him.
And
I think Lonnie Walker will start, right?
at guard.
I don't even know what they're doing.
Who'd be the point guard? Would you see Russ at the point guard still?
Not Schroeder.
Schroeder.
Scotty Pippen Jr.
So it'd be Schroeder, Lonnie Walker, Hachimura, LeBron, and AD.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the best starting 5 you get.
I think you'd actually go LeBron at the 3 because he's older, and Hachimura at the 4.
I
That's
think
a rough lineup. I'm not gonna
Oh,
lie.
it's such a rough lineup.
it is rough.
You gotta
but
find a way to move on from Russ. I don't think they do. I think Forbes is right. I would love to see it happen.
Is
Go make a-
Rui's
Listen,
6'8",
Here's the
so
thing, right? If just humor me here.
yeah, let's hear about
just
it.
humor.
Let's
me.
hear it.
Chicago and Zach LaVine look to be on the fritz.
Talk about Lonzo here or not?
No,
Okay.
I'm talking about Zach LaVine.
Okay.
All right.
I'm listening. We're just listening.
I think taking on a Russell Westbrook contract right now could be
It's
appealing.
not happening.
I'm aware. I'm just saying. I think it could be appealing. I think 2 firsts for LaVine might be a little cheap. I think he's probably worth 3. But
Yeah.
if you can find a way to get it done, I mean, throw in another player, even if it's Lonnie. Lonnie and Westbrook. I love Lonnie. You know I love Lonnie. But you throw in Lonnie and Westbrook and 2 first-round picks for a player that's probably going to just leave on his own and you get nothing for it? You wouldn't do that?
There's only one team that I think could take Russ right now.
The Spurs.
Sure, the Spurs too.
Well, they're
Pacers.
talking about Jakob Poeltl.
The
And just a
Pacers.
swap deal.
That's embarrassing.
Absolutely.
What about the Pacers?
I was
And
thinking.
I would do it.
I was thinking it's crazy. The Pacers would no. Pacers think they're going to contend for a playoffs. Pacers are crazy. I think that the best deal for Russell Westbrook if they were able to get him off
For the Lakers or
For-
for the team?
for both sides, for both Russ and for the Lakers.
No, I mean like for the who would win in this deal? The Lakers or the team that
Lakers,
is getting them? Okay, who you talking about? Charlotte?
Thunder.
Shy?
No. Just get a pick out of him. Just get a pick out of him. Their cap isn't too high. Like they'd be able to take Russ's deal
I don't know. I don't think they would want to do that.
Yeah, why would you want to do that?
Why would you wanna do that?
because you're getting one of the faces of your franchise
They
back.
don't care.
For
They
$40
have
million?
the face. They
But
have
it's-
the face.
it's a nice-
They got a kid.
They're the ones that signed that deal.
30 points a game on over 50%. SGA is the real deal.
He
and
is.
The Clippers are crying.
I
that they didn't keep him.
love SGA. He's the GOAT. He's gonna
All right.
be the
There's
future of the
no
league.
way that is
You
happening.
think you're saying he comes off the bench too, but he's been one of
Probably.
the best 6 men in the league this year.
Yeah,
Let's
and
be real.
I mean it's Russ. I'm sure that Oklahoma City Thunder fans would be happy to see Russ again.
I don't know, man. I just don't think it's worth it.
I mean,
Alright.
it's. I don't think Russ is going anywhere, but I think that'd be the most entertaining.
I
the
think
Lakers
we
will be able to
told-
get picks back.
The
Lakers, would get the picks that they need.
The Lakers don't want the picks though. That's the problem because they can't pick.
Just to trade it again.
They
trade
need
it
it though.
again.
They need it for capital.
What do you mean for capital?
Because how are you going to make a deal for anybody
Trade
if
Russ
you're
for
the
a
Lakers?
pick and then
it's when
trade
you have
those
no
picks
money
Dude, they're-
and no picks.
in turn.
They're the Lakers, okay? They can't draft no one. Those picks are meaningless. All right, all that would be for is for
They
a
drafted.
trading
They
someone
drafted
else.
Julius
Trading someone else.
Randle.
But then
They
you-
drafted Lonzo
but-
Ball.
Matt,
Matt, you're going to complain
Brandon
that you
Ingram.
hold on. But you're complaining that your team's too old and you have no
not
athleticism.
saying
But
that.
then you go trade all our picks because we can't draft guys. You can't have both.
No,
you can't have your
I-
cake and eat it too.
I'm
That's
saying-
why they're bad, and
No,
that's what
I'm
happened to
saying
the
the
Lakers when
drafting
Kobe was
isn't it.
retiring.
I'm saying the drafting isn't it. The drafting hasn't been it. Yes, Brandon Ingram. Yes, Lonzo Ball. Yes, Julius Randle. What do they all have in common?
They left.
They're players that couldn't handle playing for the Lakers. There's certain markets that are hard to play for, certain organizations that are hard to play for.
Maybe you're not
right
finding
off
the
rip.
right players.
I think it's the Lakers that just couldn't.
If you
That's what I'm saying.
The Lakers couldn't be patient and let them develop. They were 2-3 years away from getting to where they are.
No, I'm telling
Julius
you right
Randle's
now-
an all-star. Brandon Ingram
I'm telling you
all-star.
right now, they
Lonzo
couldn't have
Ball,
done it.
borderline.
No, I'm telling you right now, there was too much pressure in LA.
Jordan
for them.
Clarkson, 6 man.
No, they would have been fine. It's what you said for. We're going back to football now. It's what you said for Zach Wilson. Oh well, like you're gonna just close the case on him in 2 years.
Completely
You have to be an all-star. No, it's not because
Yes, it is because you gave Brandon Ingram multiple years. You gave Lonzo 2. You get Julius Randle does not become Julius
Ingram
Randle.
had 2 years. Lonzo had a year and a half. Julius Randle had more years because they let him walk.
Why did Julius Randle be able to come what he did? Because instead of being
time.
the biggest guy
Time.
it
It took time.
no. What it took was him not having to be the biggest guy on the roster, and he can.
He was the biggest guy on the roster. The 1 year he was on the Pelicans, he was the biggest guy on the roster. The Pelicans were awful. They lost because AD was sitting out, and then they traded everybody for.
They had
AD.
Boogie.
What? But no, Boogie was on the Warriors.
I'm pretty sure Julius Randle.
When Julius Randle played his 1 year in New Orleans before he signed the mega deal, his prove-it deal, before he signed that big deal with the Knicks, Boogie was either out of the league
He was in
or he
Golden
was
State.
on the Golden State, which he was
Golden
hurt
State.
pretty much the whole
They
season.
had another center though, didn't they?
Steven Adams?
No, not yet.
No,
That-
Steven Adams wasn't yet. He was still on the Thunder then. They didn't have another big.
Let's use
'Cause
the internet.
AD wasn't playing.
Check it out.
AD was the other guy, but
when he
AD
did-
wasn't
but
playing.
When he did play with AD, that's when he was able to stretch his game.
He played like
Dude,
10 games.
Did you ever see him play for the Lakers?
Who?
Julius Randle.
Yes.
What was the moves?
Post move.
It was
Post up, go to the left. That's all he was able to do. Try to bully. It was 1980s in the Lakers.
That's fair.
Okay.
But that's how he won that's how he was an all-star with the Knicks. That was how he was an
All right.
all-star with the
He had a
Knicks.
shot with the Knicks.
The 2019 Pelicans.
He had
It
the
took
mini.
time. It took time to develop that. And the
It was
Lakers
the
weren't
right
willing to wait.
situation. They also had a better shooting coach. They had a good shooting coach.
The
The
Knicks!
Lakers don't have it. No. The Pelicans.
Yeah, the Pelicans have a
Pelicans
great
have the
shooting
guy-
coach. They do. They
Yeah,
do.
and that's how that was able to happen. That wasn't happening with the Lakers. Brandon Ingram.
That's on the Lakers.
Yes, it is. That's what I'm saying to you.
But it's not because Julius Randle
You're
couldn't
not changing
handle
nothing.
playing for the Lakers.
No, he couldn't handle it, dude. They didn't have the right environment
It's
for him.
just that the
They didn't-
Lakers
the organization isn't good enough to develop
weren't
talent.
willing to wait. They weren't willing to wait because they
'Cause they
won't
can't.
wait. They can.
When's the last time they developed somebody?
They developed one of the greatest players ever, Kobe Bryant.
But the people that developed that aren't there anymore. The old man was still alive. Genie can't do nothing. Rob Pelinka's a bum and just literally a guy who likes to schmooze in politics. He's not the guy.
It's because they're not willing to wait. If you have a team that's
Dude,
willing to wait,
You don't
if they
even
just
have.
wait and
You
develop,
don't even know if you have the coach. You don't trust the coach.
and they had Frank Vogel. Frank
Who's
Vogel is
a
one of the
bum.
best. He's one of the best coaches
Bum.
of the early 2010s
Yes,
with the
and
Pacers.
He couldn't do nothing. Thank you.
And you had Jason Kidd as your assistant, who's also an amazing head coach.
We should have. We honestly, you probably should have went with Kid in my
And
opinion.
you got Darwin Ham now, who's a bum. He's literally a bum.
Oh, that's fine, and that's what I'm saying.
And you
to
thought he was really going to develop AD. I mean,
I
which
was
he
hoping.
did.
I was really hoping.
But of course,
here's the problem,
street
right?
clothes.
Chicos.
Here's the problem, right? That's everything
Wait,
that
hold
you're
on,
saying
Max.
is making my
Max,
point.
Last point, and then we're going to move on to baseball.
Sure. You just made my point. You're the Lakers. All right? You don't develop because you can't develop. You haven't developed anybody since Kobe Bryant. All right? You have to teach. Kobe Bryant didn't need to be taught how to play in a big place. That guy was a killer from the jump. All right? Brandon Ingram is not a killer. And if he is even showing hints, they call him Baby Reaper at times, it's because he went somewhere that had no pressure. Lonzo Ball needed someplace that could actually show him how to shoot. The Lakers can't develop nothing.
Brandon Ingram played at a place in college where there's pressure at
Completely
Duke.
different. It's completely different.
It's different,
'Cause
but
you're
it's not much.
You're playing with one of the premier programs was doing good in the time they had talent. When the Lakers were there, it's the premier team with all the pressure and baby talent that cannot be developed because they're incapable.
It's
They're the
not that they're
Lakers.
incapable; they just weren't
No,
willing
they're
to wait.
incapable. You just said it
if
yourself.
they let it wait, no, I didn't. I said if they're willing to wait, they would have bloomed
Who do they
regardless.
have that could develop somebody?
They had good coaching staffs. They had Mike D'Antoni come in.
Mike D'Antoni is the worst thing that's ever happened to the Lakers. You know why? Because Pau Gasol, who's your second best player, he literally designs a scheme to ice him out of the offense. when he's your second best player that just helped you get 2 championships. All right? And then you bring in Dwight Howard, which was great. And then you bring in Steve Nash, which is okay, but Powell should not have been iced out when he was literally the second best player on 2 championship squads, and the rest of those players don't know what chips are.
Fair enough. Powell wasn't made for D'Antoni's scheme.
No, D'Antoni ruined that team. I wish Phil Jackson would have stayed, and maybe they would have done something on to baseball.
Yeah, go ahead.
Can I close it out with one thing?
What?
Playing his first game in 2.5 years, finally back from injury, Jonathan Isaac's healthy tonight.
I would love to see that.
He's back.
Jonathan Isaac is a guy
First
who's
time
an
since
X factor.
the bubble he's
X
playing.
factor.
All right. Time for some Major League Baseball talk. The biggest news of the week. Congratulations,
A Marlins
Connor.
story!
You finally got your big fish. No pun intended.
That's a perfect
Luis
pun, though.
Arias is going to the Miami Marlins in exchange for Pablo Lopez.
And Jose Salas and another prospect.
Go ahead, you got 2 minutes.
I mean, they finally did something. They didn't sign nobody, but we'll have to see what they end up getting out of it. Jazz Chisholm's moving to center field, by the way. That might be disastrous, but we'll see. Because he doesn't even have the arm to really play shortstop, so now he's going to play center field, which is going to be great. I'm ready. I'm all here for the experiment. I'm all here for
You
the
didn't even
experiment.
need the 2 minutes. I love it. Ed, how do you feel about it?
Honestly, Connor, I'm gonna level with you. I don't like the trade for the Marlins.
Did it make
I
sense?
understand. I looked at everyone's reviews. Half the people are like, Marlins, what are you doing? And the other half are like,
Where do you
Twins,
like?
what are you
Twins,
doing?
no, Twins need pitching. That was their one weakness. They have a good lineup.
And the
as it
Marlins
is.
needed offense.
And they just re-signed Carlos Correa, so they don't need to go out and they didn't need Arias anymore. So you can Arias is a little bit expendable. He's a good contact hitter.
Yeah.
He's one of the higher averages in baseball over the last few seasons. But you need pitching. Pablo Lopez is a great number 2 in that rotation. You can put Pablo Lopez in. Now you already have the great lineup. You have some good pitching, and then you got prospects in return.
Yeah, exactly.
You didn't have to give up any of your prospects. You were just giving up Arias, and the Marlins already give up 2 good prospects, and they give up Pablo
Two
Lopez.
good prospects.
Forbes.
Two good
Yeah.
prospects.
Who won the trade?
I think the Marlins did. I think the Marlins got a
I don't know. We'll have to
player
wait
that
3
they
years to see, honestly, if I'm being real. And I think it's a win-win. But one thing, Miami did give up one of their best offensive prospects in the trade. So we'll see how well. But as you've said before, Mazz, the prospects, we don't know.
We don't know.
We don't know.
But still, you're
We
giving up a
don't
guy
know.
who's proven
But
for
I'm
another
gonna be
proven
honest
guy
with you.
and 2
I'm
prospects.
going to be honest with you.
Pablo Lopez.
I'm leaning towards the Twins.
Pablo Lopez.
They filled a bigger hole, and they got the prospects with it, right? So
But teams can
I don't
win.
like
Both
prospects.
sides
I
can
don't
win. Both
I think
sides
both
can win a
sides
trade.
probably might. We'll have to really see. I don't know. Depends if Arias can keep it up. And Lopez, like he had a great start to the season last year, but he went straight downhill.
Well, maybe because he's never pitched that many innings before, but now that he has, he's more.
He pitched a
used
lot
to
in
it.
2021. He broke an MLB record in 2021 for the most strikeouts to start a game. So he's
from
definitely
A
got
game.
the talent.
you're definitely making the side for the Minnesota take right now.
No, because Arias just won the batting title, a Silver Slugger, and was an All-Star.
We'll see what happens.
Listen, Lopez fell off a cliff last year.
But you're also getting no power from Arias at all.
I don't care.
You have no power in your lineup as it is.
Jorge Soler.
Does he get on
He
base?
strikes out so much.
Time
You
out.
still said power.
Time out.
But
You
you
sassed for
that's
power.
one, that's one power
Time
guy.
out.
You're not going to get any home runs.
I don't even care. All right, you don't
Arias?
need home runs. You
Solera's
don't need
washed.
it.
Boom.
You need guys to get on base. You
You
need
definitely
doubles.
need home runs.
You need doubles, bro. You don't need home runs.
You're not going to
Arias.
score many runs if you don't have any homers in your lineup.
I don't
You need
know, bro.
power. You need slugging.
I don't think you necessarily need it. You need guys that get on
Mazz,
base.
you said doubles? Doubles comes from slugging.
No, I get that, but you're talking straight home runs.
But you need power.
Gene
I never
Segura's
said
here.
that you did- Listen, I
Jazz
didn't say
Chisholm's
power, you
here.
need no power. I'm saying you don't need Aaron Judge, is what I'm saying.
You definitely need a big power bat. Jorge Soler's great.
There's
he's
this
a good
guy,
hitter. but he's
Giancarlo
not-
Stanton, that'd be
but-
pretty good.
But
in
he's
the
not.
Marlins.
He's not Giancarlo Stanton.
He would be pretty good in Miami. I
Stop
think they
it.
should get him back, man.
Stop it. I love
I
that
hear
guy.
what you're saying
He's
about
not
power.
Marcelo Zuna.
I hear what you're saying about power. You're right. But it's still an upgrade. It's an upgrade over anyone else. Peyton Burdick, J.J. Bleday. It's an upgrade. Trust me. Arias
You
is
have
a
Christian
huge...
Walker, but like, how long is he going to be there for?
Christian Walker.
Who am I thinking of?
He's in Arizona.
Who's your DH?
Womp, womp,
Wow.
Your DH.
Swing and a miss.
Your DH.
Your DH, Jorge
Can you please
Soler,
stop
Nick
pointing on the
Fortes,
table? What
Garrett
was that?
Cooper.
Garrett Cooper.
Garrett Cooper. Former Yankee
All right,
Garrett
what,
Cooper.
What else is going on in the baseball world, Ant?
Aroldis Chapman's a Royal.
Yeah, we're trying.
Thank the Lord.
He's gone. He is gone, everybody.
He's gone. I'm excited to see him in Never Again.
Hold on 1 second. I gotta do something real quick because I'm just so happy.
Can you please
that
talk
this
into the mic,
man
please?
is
Talking to the mic, talking to the mic,
he's
talking to the mic.
Finally gone, and I'm gonna find whatever it is, but
You're gonna talk over
Oh,
the
yeah.
mic.
That's the one that you came up with? Are you kidding?
that's what I wanted.
All right, go ahead.
The bad man is gone.
You got a minute.
He ruined the Yankees' playoff chances like 3 different times.
He did. He did.
And it finally took the third time for him not even showing up for a playoff series for the Yankees to finally be like, okay, you're gone.
He had me like
You have
praying
a
that we
guy.
brought out Lucas Lutke over him.
Wandy Peralta was out pitching him.
Yeah, that's bad.
Wandy Peralta.
Wandy Peralta frustrated me.
Clay
a lot.
Holmes,
He was-
without any control, was pitching better than him.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can't even lie to you, man.
Clay Holmes fell off a cliff, man.
Chapman has a certain place in my heart. I don't know exactly what it is.
He had to replace Mo, man. He had to replace Mo, and
Also,
he did back then.
From what I heard, he rejected more money from San Diego to go to Kansas City where there was less pressure, and he was going to be the closer. Because
Because San Diego lost
they have Hader.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
that is so insane.
Well, they have Hader, and they also have someone else.
Listen, he's
Presley.
got a World Series, right?
They get Presley.
Maybe.
Presley's in Houston.
No, but who do they get? That
I don't
Back in
understand
that
that
one.
mindset, man. That is. Do you remember who was the weird guy that pitched for? I believe
Zach
the
Greinke?
Thank you. I think I literally
Greinke.
he literally asked to go back down and change his position after being a major league pitcher for some time. That is so weird. All right, and for Chapman to be like, oh yeah, I'll take less money to go to a team that's not going to be competing like the Padres would have been. It's just very weird to me. If he took more money, makes sense. But to take less money to go to the middle of Kansas City, and basically because you want no pressure,
Because you want to be on a team that's going to win 48 games as compared to
that's
98.
weird. That's so weird to me. You know what it is? Is that literally just, hey, I want my salary for the regular season. I don't want to be pitching postseason. I just want to be relaxing with my cocktail.
It's
somewhere.
true. I mean, and you don't see it like in any
You
pro
know,
sports.
He wants
but
to be the closer. Like it's an ego thing. He goes, I don't want to be the 8th inning, 7th inning guy on the Padres. I would rather be on a team that doesn't win.
well, he's also
like
going to be
the
playing
Royals.
more important 7th, 8th inning games with the Padres.
That's what
than
I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That's
It's 'cause
how
he already has
weak-minded
his-
he
You know
is.
what? I'm gonna
He's
be
already
honest.
so weak-minded.
He's over.
Here's one
I'm
thing.
gonna be honest. Let him go. It is what it
100%.
is.
We're thankful he's
I
gone.
look at it as this is a guy with a championship ring already, so he's
He's-
already experienced that. So maybe now he just wants for himself. You know what I'm
Weak.
saying? He's not out to necessarily win a
Weak.
second championship. He's already
It just
achieved the
makes no
championship.
sense.
So now,
No. If it's for yourself, if it is for yourself, you go and I want to compete against the best competition that I can in the biggest moments that I'm able to get to right now. Kansas City, yeah, you might be the closer, but what big moment are you going to be pitching in? Where's the big moment?
not
Well,
gonna be-
don't forget on Tuesday night against the Pirates, man. I'm
Exactly
telling
my
you.
point.
it's-
maybe
Okay?
it's just to
Come
rebuild his
October,
stock.
where's he going to be?
No, maybe it's just to rebuild his stock. 'Cause
Miami?
now,
He's nice. He's what 36, and
Who
he's
knows?
not. And all he
Who
didn't,
knows?
he only had 2 pitches, and he wasn't even throwing up.
Chapman?
Yeah,
No, he's got the changeup. Yeah. The
Yeah.
changeup that he always hangs right over the plate and gets crushed for 450 feet.
Yeah, especially when they're, hitting trash cans at him,
there you go.
The buzzers.
The buzzers.
Anyway, well, anything
Don't
else?
take off my jersey. Don't take off my jersey.
Anything else?
Adam Duvall's in Boston, Tommy Pham's with the Mets. That's it.
Well, Adam Duvall to Boston. They finally have at least a lineup now in
Something.
Boston.
So they lost. So the Braves lost Duvall. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he was the RBI leader in the NL 2 years ago.
Which I can't believe, but all right.
That's a good bat. That they
Great
lost.
move
He had
for
a- he had a
Boston,
down-
'cause what do they have? What else
They
did they
lost.
have?
They lost Bogarts, and they had to
And
double
also,
down on.
He had a down year last year. They're gonna buy low, and if he is anywhere what he was 2 years
It's a
ago,
win.
that's a win.
If he's even close to it.
I don't want to see him next year as a Yankee fan, but I mean, the Red Sox are not going to be good.
Are
next
you
year.
afraid of the Red Sox as a Yankees fan?
I'm always am. Even
Yeah.
when,
Even when they're terrible.
even when they're terrible, it seems like like the Orioles, like when they're worse, we somehow lose to them more.
The
I'm gonna be
Orioles,
honest,
when they were bad, is the
As a
Yankees'
Yankee
kryptonite.
fan, with the way things are looking these days, because I had a bad take about Boston. I thought they could have been doing some serious damage with the lineup that they had, and then thankfully I
Yeah.
was wrong.
Yeah, they fell
All right?
apart.
I'm telling you right now, at this point in time, the Red Sox don't scare me. The Orioles don't scare me.
I love that they
The
ate Eric
Yankees-
Hosmer's contract.
The Yankees' performance scares me because I never know what I'm going to get. You might as well just go to Vegas, get on your favorite craps table, and let the dice roll because that's essentially what you're getting from the Yankees.
That's
Honestly,
the Yankees.
I do think Toronto wins the division this year.
Yeah, I mean,
Just sign Judge, bro. What you mean?
we don't have a left fielder. Who's in left
We
field
don't have
right
a left
now?
fielder.
Aaron Hicks.
I've heard Jerks and Profar.
Get out.
Dude, I want Profar so bad in Miami, bro.
I almost just hopped this entire mic stand to get at Connor right now. Saying that.
Yeah, it means that, right.
But Yankees are in on Jerks and Profar, and they can just get rid of either Hicks or Donaldson this year, just one of them.
I don't want to see Donaldson ever again.
No, but realistically, you want to get rid of Hicks and you want to get rid of Donaldson. You can't really get rid of both because that's.
I'd rather lose Donaldson than Hicks.
No, because at least Donaldson has some power.
I so disagree.
Donaldson has some power.
Where is Hicks useful? Where?
And Donaldson plays a great third base
on
too.
the bench.
Donaldson is a.
You know what? Aaron Hicks looks the best when he's playing for the Scranton Rail Riders in AAA. All right. Bum.
I want to see Profar in left field. I was in San Diego and I saw Profar in 2 games.
He can play left, center,
Fire.
right, first base, third, anything. He can literally play anything, and he's the best free agent left out there.
Fellas, anything else for baseball? Because I have a question for Forbes.
We got to do Schmuck of the week.
And Dog of the Week.
He doesn't have one.
I have one. What do you mean?
Oh, is it Mike McCarthy?
Of course. Who else would it be? It came down to him and Dalton Schultz. And I'm going to be honest, at least Schultz caught the ball. It wasn't a complete catch, but at least he caught the ball. This is who you guys are hyping up at tight end for Dak. It's always on Dak. His tight end can't even drag the toe, for crying out loud, when he literally had 4 feet of room to get the foot down. Yeah, this is what Dak's working with. Thanks, guys.
So is it
But
McCarthy or is it Schultz?
No. It's McCarthy. All right, you put this team together. You don't have a backup plan when everything hits the fan, but yet we're always in situations in the playoffs where it already hit the fan, and you got nowhere to go. All right, you're a bum. I don't know what you're doing. I appreciate you for being the best coach out of the last 3 tenures, but Jerry, for the love of God, before it's all over, and you have to pass it over to that bum son of yours that has no clue what he's doing, please do whatever you can to get somebody that at least. What we're saying we want. If Sean Payton doesn't work out, it's on the fan base because we've been telling you all year we want it. All right? So make a move that at least makes you look good in the eyes of the fan base. I'm over it. Dog of the week.
Dog of the week. This is going to be a little unconventional dog of the week this week. But Connor, I think you might like this one. Ottawa Senators hockey team forward Matthew Joseph.
Are you kidding me?
So he's playing the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Yep.
And his brother plays for the Penguins, P.O. Joseph.
Dude, they high-sticked each other. And
he high-sticks his own brother in the game and gets a penalty. He has to go to the box. They both go to the box at the same time.
They both high-stick each other. One was an accident. One was on purpose. And their parents are watching the game together, and they both don't know what to do.
The only thing that would have made that better.
Bro, how do you high-stick your own brother in an NHL game? How much of a dog move is that? Dog of the week.
It's absolutely
Matthew Joseph.
I believe that is all the time that we have here on 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair. This has been Ant and Mazz in the Midday. And if you want, you can catch us next Monday from 3 to 5.
2 claps and a Ric Flair. Woo! See you next week, everybody.